Hello.
Hello. How's it going? We're sitting here with Preston Owen Miller, a.k.a. King Supreme.
How's it going? What's up?
Good. Thank you for coming on over here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Now, tell us, you are a producer, correct?
Producer.
Yes.
DJ. Sound engineer.
Ooh.
Beat god. And the creator of my own genre, I'd like to call Astro Hop.
Astrohop.
And a different plane of existence.
What is Astro Hop like?
Astro Hop.
Man, that was a whole damn we pretty much wrote a whole
So my description, my description, Astro Hop, because really the idea was me and I were sitting in a room talking about the genre, and
I was tripping my ass off.
He was tripping, but he was tripping to a point where he was ready to listen to why I make the beats the way that I do.
Yeah.
So when I broke it down to him, which is pretty much like what I think about when I'm making the beats, what sounds I'm going for, and one of the things I think about is very first off, I got tired of hearing music and I didn't have anything to turn on that I just I just want to listen to something that no one else had.
Hits that button.
Yeah, so I can just play my own music whenever I want. Excuse me. 2, what if people listen to, instead of listening to what everybody likes to hear, what if they listen to what they wanted to hear?
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? This is something I like to hear, because everybody else is it's well, what do you want to hear though? Personally, don't be afraid to venture into something different. And then 3, I'm definitely on some outer space stuff. I'm definitely first and foremost, my thought on mankind, humankind, species of man, we wasting time. I feel like we should definitely be traveling through space, trying to figure some stuff out, mining planets or whatever it is we're capable of now. We've wasted a bunch of time, and I think of when I make beats, I'm thinking of interplanetary space travel.
Yeah.
Thinking of what would happen if we did know how to teleport, or if we did levitate. And I know it sounds crazy, but what if we had those little nuances about ourselves, what if we could do that? And what would music sound like in a spaceship? How would your music sound if you're in a spaceship cruising at the speed of light,
what would you pop on if you were just going?
And so my goal was to make sounds that literally gave you almost a cinematic feel that made you want to think about things outside of the box. What could I do with this music? Or I could. A lot of my homies tell me, oh dude, this music's perfect for playing video games, or just sitting and watching the sunset, or just thinking about stuff that I've gone through, or doing homework too. And that's cool. I definitely want to be able to cater to that too. But that's pretty much my goal is everyone's just making beats to what everyone likes to hear, and I'm trying to give people something they want to hear. Yeah, something that you don't have every day. You can't just go on and you got all your radio, you got everything that everyone's always playing, all your friends like this music, but it's you don't these beats. You can just pop on and it's completely different from anything else you've listened to. You know what I'm saying?
Almost you didn't know you wanted this.
Yeah, and so it's just when people hear it and then I explain it to them, they're just you know what I mean? They're oh, and when I explained it to Aubrey, he's just bro,
dude, I wish I could have been there.
He was just bro, that's that. He's that's Astro Hop, and I'm I like that. He's you've literally created your own sound for your own genre. And I was and he looked it up, and he's there's no claims for that.
Yeah.
There's nothing, no one's claiming that.
Super original.
I was well, I'm gonna claim it then. I mean, you can. People have referred my sound to other people's sound, and that's totally fine. Especially when you can't put a nail on it. I get that. When you can't hammer it down. I've had people oh, your sound's like EDM. I don't think that I make EDM music at all.
Right. I wouldn't think that's from what I've heard.
Any EDM from me.
Yeah, but I've heard people tell me that. your music's like EDM, and I'm just like, what? Cool, great. EDM's hot right now. That's cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's fine, whatever. I've heard people tell me, you know, your sound, like you got that Wiz Khalifa sound or the ASAP Rocky sound. Like, those are more relatable because I fuck with both of those artists. Yeah. Especially ASAP Rocky, like with his, you know, examples of contemporary art mixed in with like hip hop, like, and the abstract things that he does with his visuals, like. Definitely, like I could see the relation with that, but like at the same time, like I'm still going off of things that no one really thinks about.
Right, you're in your own.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like lane, I still look up to a lot of producers and a lot of artists for like sound inspiration, but as far as like what I'm doing with my sound, like it's all me. Like I don't, you know what I mean? So yeah, Astro Hop came about pretty much like just me trying to find my own sound, create my own lane, and like, you know, maybe give labels a different sound for like production. They'd be like, man, we need something different. Like, where can we go for sound? Like,
that's like a beautiful thing, Astro Hop, because when you when Aubrey, by the way, we're sitting here with Obs as well, Aubrey Barnes.
Oh yeah, Obs period.
And when he was messaging me about it and you chimed in, you're like, the way you described it is when you're making music or those beats, you're producing that stuff and you're in that zone of like a different plane of existence, nothing and no one is fucking with you at that point in time. I totally felt that. I was like, oh, that's the best like description. I'm like, all right, I'm in.
And that's
for sure. I love that, you know.
And that's the final key to it is to feel if the beat makes me feel. And that's the one thing. I don't just make beats all day every day. Like I do make beats every day, and I will make a beat all day. But excuse me. It's a beat that catches that zone. Yeah. Once the beat puts me in that zone, like it fulfills that like need that I have for that sound. Like I can't wait to like listen to this on repeat and play it out for days and days and days and days. Once I catch that, then that's when I go to work and like. But I never make a beat that's just a beat. Like just
you're not making like shallow, just throwing like random stuff and like, oh, that's all right. You always have to.
But like when I do that, I do feel like, you know, ain't nobody fucking with me at that point in time. Like I'm making a sound that no one else has created, and once I've made that sound that no one else has created, like I feel that like, and it's not to be like cocky, like ain't nobody. I'm the best music producer out there, better than whoever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I do think about being better. Like than a lot of producers, or I have a better sound. All do, I'm sure. We all do. Like you gotta have that ego. Like, but at the same time, like I'm humble about it. Like I just know that my sound's different, and I'm not following anybody else. And so that's why I feel like ain't nobody fucking with me with my shit. And like I challenge rappers because the simple fact, like, you know, I've had rappers come in and then doubt their own abilities to my music after they said they fucked with it. You know what I'm saying? Like that lets me know like my music challenges people. And like some people haven't been able to rise up to the challenge, except besides a few lately, which has been you, Aubrey, and Jabez.
Yeah, I think I've told you this before. It's when I wrote to Lil Uzi Introvert. Check it out. Yeah, it's I felt, because I even mentioned like I usually don't write or flow over or feel compelled to flow over beats of that particular beat, I guess, that particular instrumental, and it helped me grow. I felt that I grew lyrically, and I mean, it kind of opened up my mind too, because I didn't think I could flow over something like that. And then once we were done with, I'm like, oh dude, yeah, this is a banger.
It sounds so good. Like it sounds so good the way, like it to me, the way what it sounds like, especially like when you guys go over, it's like you guys are like releasing, like, okay, look, like I'm an introvert, okay, like this is how I really feel. And like I just felt like the release from it alone when you guys flowed over, like the energy you guys put on it, and like I could definitely tell, like, you were like, man, these pockets in here, like, this shit's hitting something different. So, like, your flow for me was just like, man, this just sounds so nice. Like, hell yeah. I was so, like, I was ecstatic, stoked, nervous, because like, I was nervous to see what you were going to, like, write to it. But, like, at the same time, like, I was humbled because, like, I've already heard, like, stuff that you've done. So, like, I was just like, man, this is the type of flow that needs to be over my beats anyway. Hell like, this is the type of dude that needs to show people, like, yo, this sound could be killed. Like, you can kill these beats if you are a rapper, if you're good, if you can think outside the box. And so for you and Aubrey both to just, you know, come with what you guys did, like, that for me was like, okay, like a slap in everybody's faces who was like, I can't rap over stuff like this. Because you guys rapped over a beat I made 5 years ago.
Right, and I was going to say, that was probably an older one for you.
That was a beat I made 5 years ago, and like, but it's the same thing like Jabez said, like, he's like, bro, people are going to listen to this stuff and think that you made these beats yesterday. He's like, these beats, he's like, they changed my life. You know, when someone tells me that my music changed their lives, which I have had other people tell me that lets me know that I'm doing what I set out to do.
You're doing something right.
Yeah, like in the first place, like it's to change someone's lives and to kind of like, if I can, even if I never rap over my stuff, like, or no one ever does, if you can listen to my music and wake up every day and start changing a bad habit into a good habit just because of the vibes you're getting from my music, that's to me like my job's done. As a producer, as someone who designs a sound, like my job's done. Like that's to me is the same thing as putting out music for people who like to sleep to music. Like I love sleep music.
Oh, sleeping too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Music that I put on my phone or whatever, or like on my computer or whatever, and like it's the sleep genre or whatever it is, just sounds to sleep to, and like it's lovely. Like, but at the same time, like that person, like whoever's making those sounds, like I'm letting them know, like they may not ever hear this, they might see this. Those sounds, like they did their job.
Right.
Those sounds help me, sleep at night, and like when I have that same effect on people, I understand, like, and it just makes me feel so much better, and I just like drives me to keep going, like back to the drawing board, like all right, what can I do next, like. Where can I take this Astro Hop? Like, what can I do with this sound? Like,
build that momentum of the direction you already had. Yeah.
So, like I never try to get like big headed about making the beats. It's just like I do feel like, at the end of the day, ain't nobody really fucking with me. Like, people are, fucking with me, but they're not fucking with me.
Right. You're not talking like skill wise. You're talking about the lane that you're in and the Astro Hop
no one
feel.
Else in my lane. Like,
I've listened to a good amount of your music, and there's so much depth within, like, the styles that you implement, the elements within each track. I really dig that too, because there's some songs that, like you said, are kind of reminiscent of like you could probably fall asleep to this one or that one. It's so chill, it has such a good vibe to it. But then there's some that are just like, fuck yeah, you know what I'm saying?
So like I definitely, like I said, I don't just make the beats just to be making beats. Like and another key thing is I do emotions. Excuse me. Emotions are a thing for me. I'm not very good at showing emotions, like partially due because I'm a recluse, I'm an introvert, you know what I'm saying? And it's had its good effects and its bad effects, like relationships. Girls think that I'm not an affectionate person sometimes or whatever, and it's not really that. It's just like, it's not that I have a hard time, it's just I have a different way of showing my emotions, and to me music is like, for me, the best way for me to show my emotions. So instead of talking about getting on social media and talking about all these problems and hooting and hollering and being like, oh, my life is so stressful or whatever, it's just like, I would rather just make a beat so like I can explain to somebody what I was going through. Like if you hear a beat that just, you're like, oh my God, that sounds like very sinister. Like I could talk my shit over it.
Right.
Then know that I was pissed off.
Right. It keeps that same energy.
Just know that I was pissed off at that moment when I made that beat. Like I was able to channel my energy and put it out instead of going out and just fucking somebody up on some dumb shit. Like that's another thing is like a lot of the stuff that I go through, like pain, anger, depression, happiness, joy, all that stuff, like it goes all in my music. Like I channel all that into my music.
That's a beautiful outlet too.
The jazzy feels with like the muted trumpets and like the delay and like the reverb and like the organ, like the gospel, like the organ for me is like, that's like, to me, especially like as a, not to make this like a a racial thing, but like as a black man, like the organ and like the muted trumpet, like that jazz sound, like especially like what, like to me, like that's the best way for me to like express like my, like hurt or like depression or like sexiness, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm feeling myself, like I'm feeling jazzy, I'm feeling a little snazzy, step out, like party. Like those are like, you know what I mean? Those are sounds I look for to express the feelings and emotions. And that's why like some people might say, oh, you kind of, stick to certain things or you've only experimented with, like, well, there's certain sounds that to me like connect to my emotions. So when I go to make a beat, like I try to find sounds that connect with my feelings so that you guys can feel it. So when, like I said, when you hear a beat that makes you just like you stank face and you're just like, damn,
right.
Like,
I like that stank face.
You're feeling what I was feeling at that point in time. Right. And like, that's another goal for me is like every time I put out a beat is like, listen to it. Like, you might not vibe with it then, but I guarantee you you're gonna have a moment in your life where that beat is gonna resonate with you. Like,
yeah, you'll see the significance. Because you're like you said, you're not just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. This is calculated.
I get it. Some people like to just make beats to make beats to make beats. Like, you know, to sell beats, do that. You know, that's what they do. Like, they just like to make beats and experiment with stuff. Like, but I usually set out for a certain tone, a certain sound, like a certain dynamic with what I'm going for, and it's usually like I find the sound that is resonating with my feeling at that present time, and then I like, once that sound hits, then I just go to work. You know what I'm saying? And I usually, like I said, I lay something down real fast, but it could take me all day, maybe even 2 weeks to like mess with that certain beat. Like, if I don't, you know what I'm saying, if I'm going for a certain vibe. But yeah, I don't like to just make beats like that. I mean, eventually you'll get to points where people just go, I need to beat, and and I can do that, but at the same time, like, I tell people, when you come to me for my sound.
Yeah, I've seen that before. I like that, dude.
You want the sound that you hear from me. If you want that, then don't come to me about, I want to sound like this, or can you produce like this? No, I'll just come to me. I want to be from you.
Right.
Like, make it sound like DJ Khaled and Zaytoven.
Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've had, and no, like, no, and
can you make it a little more trappy?
Like, I like, to these people, like, I'm not knocking them at all, and I love them. I love people who come to me like, this is what, you know, show me little clips. This is the sound I'm going for.
Because they also could challenge you to make something.
But the thing is like, when you came to me at first, they make it seem like they come to me for my sound. And it's like, I want to work with you. Like, I'm trying to fuck with you. I love the way you make beats. Oh, cool. Like, I'm super stoked. Like, you're going to get one of the beats I've already made, or I'm going to make you something fresh off the rack that I'm like, I think
put your heart into.
Yeah. It's like, but I like this. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm real busy right now.
Yeah, you can't come to people like
I'm
with
real
a template
busy right now, so I'll get back to you. Like, we'll link up. Like, and that's pretty much that's what I give them, because I don't. That's not why I got into making beats. I didn't get making the beats to just make money and make beats that everybody wanted, because I can do it.
There's a real sense of like genuineness, if that's a word.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you know, genuine elements in your craft and your artistry. Specifically, like you said, you're not just out here making shallow, heartless, mindless beats for any Joe Schmo that comes up and says, hey, can you make it sound like this or that? It's calculated. You put your essence into it, your being, and
it's something about just making a beat and then not rocking with.
Yeah. Like, you're not disingenuous at all.
I can't just, like, if I'm not feeling like making a beat that day, like, I usually just won't make it, because, like, you see a lot of people like, oh, if you're doing what you love, make sure you work at it every day. Well, I've put enough work in to know that now I can just pick out a sample and lay a beat down in a matter of 15 minutes.
Right.
And just leave it like that, because I put in the 10,000 hours to be good at that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, like, but I get the work ethic, you know, you got to stay blah, blah, blah. And I still do all day. I carry beats in my head all day. I mean, even now, like, in the back of my head, there's always beats going all the time.
I think I can hear it.
But no, like, I've been like that since I was a kid. Like, my creativity has always been off through the roof. Like, I always tell people, my mind, usually, like, you know, if you find us conversating about things and, like, I might not always be there, it's because that's where my mind is. Like, it's off, like, it's gone. Mm-hmm. It's off. Like, I really would rather be creating than having this conversation with you. And it's nothing against the person, like, I'm usually talking to, but all right,
well, I guess that's it, guys.
No, but like, most people, like, you know, they take it like, I don't care, I'm not paying attention, and like teachers back in the day would take it as like, oh, you're just slow, you're spacing off and shit. It's like, nah, I'm just in a really highly creative state, and like that's, you know, obviously we know that's a problem now. Too many kids misdiagnosed with ADHD or, you know, hyper creativity. Like, it's not a problem. It's just like, I think people just didn't know how to tend to those needs back then.
And at that age, there is not really anybody to tend to those needs.
So the best thing they do is they put you on medication, or they hold you back a grade. And it's like, dude, I'm so glad my mom didn't allow the medication.
Hell yeah.
Like, I got held back in second grade, and like, I, you know, instantly proved teachers and stuff wrong. Like, all the time. It's just like, dude, like, you're a really smart kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got that a lot, like, growing up. But it's like I knew better. Like, I knew why it happened. And it's like, I was just like, you know what? Like, just because, like, you know, society has these standards, like, doesn't mean everybody's gonna follow. Like, people just work differently, you know what I'm saying? And that's another thing, like, with the beats, like, people work differently, man. Like, not everybody does this. Not everybody likes to make 20 beats a day and crank them out and, you know, can sell them, like, and do that. Like, no, I want to make one meaningful beat for everybody. If I can make 7 billion beats for everybody in this world, and everybody had to beat for themselves, like, I would definitely do it. Like, not sell it, like, just because I knew I could make a beat that would probably catch somebody's feelings, like, one way or another. And that's where I'm at. Like, I've had people get mad at me for stuff like that. But, like, you don't do beats for money. If somebody threw $1 million at you, like, even if they, it's like, well, nah, man. Like,
why would they get mad at
That's the artist in you, too, man.
That conversation was more like, they was like, if you don't like the way they rap and they came in with $1 million and it was trying to buy the beat, you still ain't gonna sell. I was like, nah, because like,
fuck the $1 million.
Like, that's my art craft. Like, I don't want somebody ruining it just because, like, if you like my beat, cool. Like, you should just keep listening to it. But like, if I don't like the way you rap, no, I'm not gonna sell my beat to you. Like, you're just gonna destroy the craft. Like, if I like the way you get down, like, I'm gonna give you the beat for free. Like, I'm gonna try to, unless I'm really trying to.
Or 20 of them.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll give you a 40 pack of beats. Like, show me what you got over these before I try to make you something new. And like, mess with me. But like, I've had people, get mad at me, say you ain't about the money, and it's like, it's not about the money for me. It's a little music.
And that's weird to even hear.
That's a really stupid thing to get mad about.
Yeah, like really, man, you're not about the money.
You're not a
This is
sellout.
my. This is what
What do you mean you're not all about the image?
Money, right. If I was about the money at my age now,
Fuck
like,
those people.
I would have went back to and got a trade job.
Right. Exactly.
Started making $22 an hour, like, and I would be cool right now at 32. If I would have went back when I wanted to go back and do like, just to get by and live comfortably and and just enjoy life, like, traveling, the little things like that. But like, that's not what I love. Like, what I love is making beats and changing people's lives. Like, whether I'm DJing for them, producing for them, or like what I'm saying, whatever. So at the end of the day, yeah, man, like I put feelings into my shit. I don't want to just give somebody some bullshit. Like, I always try to give the artist what they want, as long as they're coming to me for my sounds.
Right. And as long as it's, as long as you feel that there's some genuine elements in that, what they're trying to do.
There's been a couple people that have come my way and have been super pushy, or like, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And I just like hasn't said anything back, or just like I just I'm busy right now. It's just because.
This isn't an escort service. You can't be like, I want a tall redhead with 4 freckles.
You know what I mean? And it's not about that for me. It's
and people really do need to start, at least artists and creatives, or they really need to start. We, I guess, really need to start thinking of your craft and the line of stuff that you do as a craft. It's not. It's never. I mean, maybe for some guys it is, but I know with you, like when I came over and. We got the introvert laid down, I knew that I had to. There was a sense in the back of my head. I was like, I don't want to disappoint the beatsmith, because this is obviously something you spent time on. Yeah. And I could tell, like, I love the beat or the instrumental itself, and
thank you.
So yeah, there's just that sense of like, maybe it's just me, but I'm like, I'm not gonna throw some whack shit over here. One, make Obs look bad. 2, make Preston disappointed.
Y'all killed it, man. Like, I'm still like, because it's on my saved song playlist on Spotify. It's like literally comes up like, I think, well, because I keep saving songs that I like, so it keeps coming up like later and later. But like, that song's like on my like, I'm so proud. Like, cause that's the first feature that I've got to put up, that to showcase like over the beats on my Spotify playlist already. Yeah. But you guys now have a feature over it, and like that to me, like it just
recorded in your beat lab as well. Which I love the ambiance of that.
And, and you guys gave me an opportunity to work with vocals and show people like, hey man, I'm good with the beats. I might not be great with the vocal mixing on that, but I'm trying to get better.
DIY for sure.
And I look up to a lot of producers who keep saying this is all I usually use to start out when I do recordings or anything. Timberland, like all these, you don't need a huge studio to do all this stuff. And every time I hear that, it just drives me more and more. It's like, Obs is like, yo, let's record. And like, I'll show Obs like, bro, I'm getting better. Like every time I show him a recording, like he's done or anything he's got coming up, like he's just like, dude, like, I'm just like, dude, I pretty much got it down to like where I'm pretty confident now. Like, I'm a fast learner, so that I have an edge. I can teach myself things without having people being like, here, let me show you how to do this. And it takes weeks and weeks and weeks. It's like, nah, Like, if there's something I want to learn how to do, like, I get down to it, like, down in it. Like, I play in that shit, like, the knowledge of it.
Yeah.
I just dance around in it and wrap up myself up in it. Like, you know, I sleep in it. And then, like, I go back to whatever it is that I need to apply the knowledge to. And then I apply it. And then I'm like, okay, there it goes. Like, and the thing is, some people like to waste time trying to do this. Like, you can't waste your time. Like, I don't waste my time. Like, people are out here... Now it's a dog eat dog world as far as that engineering goes, especially locally, because you know we're on the come up right now. Everything's popping, so everybody's trying to get, you know, I can do this, and I'm not, as you can see, like I'm just out here really, I can make beats, but the vocal stuff, yeah, man, like for you guys allow me to mix and master that over my own beat meant the world to me. I just want y'all to know that.
It's so pure when it takes place like that too. Like, I would have felt kind of weird if we sent our vocals off or if we recorded somewhere else over your beat. You know what I'm saying? It would have just felt a little foreign to the whole process.
I wouldn't have cared. Like, for me, like I told Obbs, like, my thing is, like, I sell the beat, I'll sell you the beat. I'm not selling, like, exclusive rights to my WAV files.
Yeah.
So as far as your engineer goes, no, he can't get the beat to destroy
Right.
he wants to.
Right.
Like, I try to master my beats down to, like, literally the professional grade of listening. So
Yeah.
I test them out on all kinds of headphones and speakers and things like that, and like I make sure like none of my stuff is going over thresholds on the meters, like all that stuff. So, you know, for me, like if I'm making a beat and like you decide like, oh well, can I get the beat from you and take it to a different engineer because he wants to do a different thing to the beat and then my vocals, and it's just like, nah, like nah, bro, like it's cool, go ahead and rap over the beat and go ahead and let the engineer mix the vocals down to the beat
do itself,
that.
right?
I totally have no problem with that. But there has been a couple times where like I've sent beats off and like I never got any of the, like they never sent any of the vocals they did back or anything.
Really?
I've never heard back from a lot of artists who I've given beats to, and they said they recorded some stuff and like, you know what I mean, like yeah. So like that was my mistake on my bad, not knowing better, just eager to get my name.
But
out
now
there.
you know. Yeah.
Now I know. So now I give the beat out and I let them know, hey, you don't have to come to me to record. Don't ever think that. But I am willing to do it for pretty much probably cheaper or almost free, since you paid for the beat and you're putting my name out there on the production credit. Let me get better at the vocals.
And especially if you like you said, send off the WAV file of the beat itself to somebody and they just fucking destroy the whole essence that you were going for with the song. That would be
when
terrible.
someone masters a beat down, people think they can remaster the beat. You can't. You can add some equalizers and things and maybe get the certain like bass levels and, you know, the highs and lows. Yeah. But you can't remaster a mastered beat. Yeah. As the WAV file. It's just it is what it is. And so like,
I trust your skills too. I mean,
if you don't trust me enough to say, hey, I don't like the way this sounds, then you need to let me up like, hey, can you change the level on this? Change the level on that. Don't ever take the beat from somebody and then go to an engineer and, you know,
write this shit down. That's some fraudulent ass shit.
If you're gonna take it to your engineer to, hey man, this beat's hot, like I get it, because we all know people get beats off YouTube all the time. Well, I know how you get the beats off YouTube. I can put it out there. I know how you do it. My stuff's on YouTube. I know people have probably got the program and just taken a beat off YouTube.
Fucking Joe Schmo from Arizona.
I'm pretty sure people have,
over.
like, bro. I know they have, and that's cool. My stuff's registered in the DMI, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Well, I got all my stuff registered now, so if I ever catch anybody doing it, like, you know,
they'll be fucking told to pay.
But at the same time, like, I get it, like. You got your homie who's trying to come up and be your engineer for free. Like, he's trying to get his name up. Like, bro, like, that's fine. I'll give you the beat. Yeah, take the beat. Go record. Just don't try to do anything to beat that makes the beat not sound like I did make it. Because it's just like, that's a completely different story. But, yeah, man.
Yeah, if that's the case, just have your fucking buddy make a beat with the same tempo and all that.
Like I said, it's a plus to be able to have you guys and do it and you know, be able to work on the vocals. But by all means, I'm always, because for me, like, it helps, you know, the different ear.
How long, if you can count it up, let's say music in general, how long have you been playing, you know, an instrument? When did you start writing or making your own songs, I guess? In the sense that you're not, like, covering somebody else's stuff, whether it's in bands or...
I started writing, like, my own tunes, like, for my own music. I want to say probably around like, about 18. Okay. I've been playing I didn't, like, write my own songs in. I picked up the guitar, acoustic guitar, started messing around. Didn't really know anything about tuning at the time. I just like started playing little notes in the guitar that I liked, and then I finally got an electric guitar my freshman year of high school. So I picked up the acoustic when I was about 12. Yeah, so when I was 14, I got an electric guitar.
Okay, yeah.
And I got a little amp, and it was an Ibanez Geo, I remember. I got a little amp for it, and I started learning, like, scales. I didn't try to, like, because at that point in time...
You weren't right off the bat, like,
yeah,
let's learn this song.
If you didn't take... Because I skipped out on, like, I didn't like music in junior high. Like, I didn't like the music teacher. So I took, like... I was a kid who got to take, like, 2 things of art instead of in junior high school. Nice. That wasn't even a thing. Like, you couldn't...
Like, you had electives or something in junior high.
Like, they were like, well, we really, like... They were like, you're really good at, like, art and stuff. So I was like... I was just like, man... Because, like, not only that, but... I was supposed to get a trumpet or whatever, and we couldn't afford a trumpet to get the trumpet. And, you know, I just sit in music class and, like, you know, he kind of made fun of me for it. Like, I'm not going to say his name, but, you know, he kind of made jokes, thought it was funny, and it just pissed me off one day. And I just ran up out of there, and they were just like, you know, they kind of understood. So they gave me, you know, 2 art. They gave me, you know, instead of having music and then art one semester, they just gave me art and then art.
I got you.
And that helped out. And my aunt, or my cousin, she had an acoustic that just been sitting in her house for a very long time, like since I was like 7. And like I finally like seen it one day, and I was like 12. I was like, can I have this? She was like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's when I took my first guitar home. I got the Ibanez, and then I started playing like Blink-182, Census Fail stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't remember any of that stuff now.
I remember that era for sure.
Boxcar Racer, like. I was playing all that stuff because, like, that's what the kids I hung around, that's what we were all into. Like, we were all into that stuff. So I was into, like, you know, Limp Bizkit and all that stuff. I was, you know, granted, I still had my hip hop.
You say you were?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Limp
Bizkit, Limp Bizkit when he was popping back in the day, for
Limp
sure.
Bizkit, Korn,
Korn, yeah. And there's a lot of, that's weird, too. There's so many, I mean, obviously Limp Bizkit, but Korn has so many, like, hip-hop rap elements within the shit. Yeah,
they're both hip-hop oriented, and I think that's what helps me, especially, like, me fitting in, because especially, like, where I lived, like, my mom always lived in neighborhoods, like, either that were, like, in the ghetto or, like, out around the ghetto. So, like, people knew who I was, but, like, at the same time, they knew I was, like, the kid who skateboarded and listened to, like, Linkin Park and heavy metal.
Right.
And so, like, you know... Kids from the hood didn't really fuck with me, but like I said, I hung out on the other side of the tracks anyway, so it didn't matter. Like, I hung out with the kids who, you know, whose parents were trying to send them off to good education and all that stuff like that. Not trying to say, like, you know, the silver spoon, like, the lifestyle was what I was trying to, like, get in and fit in, but, like, those were the kids who actually fucked with me for me.
Yeah,
because I was like into that shit, and like I was just different, you know what I'm saying? Not because he's not a ghetto black kid. It's just like, no, they fucked with me because I was me. Yeah. And they seen that
birds of a feather.
Yeah, they seen that the hood wasn't really fucking with me because I was, you know, the weird art kid. Like, so yeah, that's you know, that was definitely a thing too. So all that, listening to that stuff and playing guitar. Yeah. You know, since I was 14. So.
Where are you originally from?
Galesburg, Illinois.
Okay. Yep.
Galesburg, Illinois. Born and raised, 19 years until my mom picked up and went to Arkansas. And when she did that, that's when I moved to Davenport. I went down to Arkansas for like maybe 8 months. But yeah, I didn't like it down there.
What made you choose the QC?
It was familiar, and I had homies up here who were doing the band thing too, and had a spot for me to stay. Otherwise, it was just stay in Arkansas. And
the scene was popping back then too. Like
the scene was popping. The scene was
was
popping. Like, we had like, how many centers we had? We had the Gooch Center, we had the LeClaire Civic Center, we had Davenport.
See, I was like a year or two after that whole era, but I always like I ended up hanging out with like playing in a metal deathcore band. I ended up getting in touch with all these kids.
Like
Yeah. You
guys played our house show.
Yeah,
one time.
Yeah. Era's house, or was it the?
It was a Era Distance house show. It was a house show. Yeah. Right, we had it right across from St. Ambrose. I remember.
Yeah.
We had it in our living room, and Chris played like, I think. You guys were like already. You guys had clout then because you guys already. Well, one, you had Connor Lyle. You had Connor in your band, but he was drumming then.
Yeah,
I never even knew he picked up guitar. Like,
he always switching around and shit.
There's some history here, guys. Saying no, like,
so you had Connor Lyle, like you had and then like, bro, like, I mean, everybody was, bro. I think the talent we see now already like, especially like within the band scene, like was already surfacing, like who had the young talent, like
right.
I don't think anyone expected me to make the transition into hip hop though.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking about, because when he well, for the longest time I knew that you were making beats and instrumentals and producing in that sense, but it wasn't until like we all kind of linked up that I was like, dude, I've seen you play in Distance before, like multiple times. Yeah, I've seen you play instruments. I'm like, this dude is a musician. And then you have to make that, I guess, I don't want to say crossover, but you know, you kind of are crossing over into a different genre altogether, basically.
Distance was my hard, like that was like my hard, like last little, like, all right, I'm gonna give this band thing one more. Like I would still like to do the band thing, but I think at the point like me and Gonzo have definitely talked about getting Distance back together. But I told him I want to do a name change. Like,
wasn't Jamie's in that?
Huh?
Wasn't Tribes in that?
Yeah, Justin was keyboards on that. I was guitar. Gonzo was guitar. Josh Macias was drums. Jake Fitzwater was vocals.
And now most of you guys just make beats.
Right. Yeah. Robert Stengel was on bass.
Okay.
I think
yeah, I remember seeing Robert up there.
Robert, when he was like, he's totally complete.
He was the youngin' of the group.
Robert was the youngin', like the suave, like young kid in high school still, like, you know what I'm
suave.
saying? Like we try to like shelter him from things, but it didn't have that. He was already like, man, I love Robert, bro. Like, yeah, Robert was like, the grooves we had came from like, especially our jammy parts, like the stuff when we were like doing like explosions in the skies type stuff.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
Those grooves came because of Robert's bass, like, you know what I'm saying? There was bass lines he laid down that just.
I thought he might have just been filling in. I didn't know he was actually into it.
It sucks because like, I don't want to say it sucks like regret. It's definitely not regret. It's just like I could see where I was gonna take that sound or like my guitar skills, like where it was going, and I wish that it would have just kept going, like we just would have kept going at it, or all the stuff that happened that led up to us not being near each other now.
Yeah.
Like everything that after
happens,
that, all that stuff, what we talked about, all that stuff. Like if that would have never happened, like I'm sure we'd probably be.
You guys had a super unique sound, especially for around here.
Thank you. I still like think about. I still obviously play my guitar and jam out, and like I said, I told Gonzo if we ever did do it again, like we already talked about it. We changed the name and write new stuff. Some of them still remember some of the old stuff. I completely forgot it personally. Like
that's how I am.
I wanted to evolve my sound, like, and so I told him, you know, if I ever did the band thing again, I'd start a band called Full Counter. Which is inspired by Seven Deadly Sins anime.
I was just thinking about that shit.
You said what was the name?
Full Counter?
Full Counter.
Okay.
So
I like that name.
It's inspired by that title's inspired by Seven Deadly Sins anime. The main character, Meliitis, like he has that technique, Full Counter, like when he's pretty much getting fucked up, like he takes all damage, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then like Full Counter, like, you know, so he'll let you pretty much beat him up to a point of like pulp, and then he does a full counter and like does all the damage tenfold.
Oh, like a counterattack, basically.
And then he's got a move called Revenge Counter, which is just like the same thing but even worse.
You should have, if you guys do that, you should have a song called Revenge Counter.
Yeah, I thought about like doing that, but I wanted to have the inspiration come from that and be known that it came from that. So I did talk to him about it. He was totally cool with that idea, and he's got a thing called Haddonfield.
Yeah, Haddonfield's up and kicking now.
Gonzo and I probably will jam again, and like Full Counter will happen, but it'll happen at its own like pace. It'll be something that like kind of just springs out of the blue, like
more organic.
More organic. Like some of the good music that's been happening around here, these bands that have been popping out of the blue, that I'm just like, ooh, like when the fuck did they get together?
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like that's how it's gonna happen. Like, and that's for the better, honestly, because you know I got my hip hop stuff going on. And
when did sorry to interrupt, when did you find yourself when you were playing music like in a band, or whether it be Distance or whatever, when did you find yourself start like producing beats and instrumentals, I guess through that prism, that, you know, computer, beat pads and whatnot?
I think it was when I was living with Justin Means, and I had just started hustling pretty much.
Okay.
Selling weed, and I had the means of being able to get the equipment. So I'm pretty much a $600 laptop is not really, but it did the job at the time. And then I got a hold of a program, and I bought a pair of Beats headphones, and I was just using my keyboard on my laptop at the time. And this is back in like 2012.
Okay, yeah.
So 2012 was when I started
era.
like just messing with the program. But it was actually before that. I was living in Bettendorf with Dalton Spidell actually. And I got my very first laptop temporary through errands because the job I had, like, I ended up like firing me or something.
Oh, so you're like renting it basically.
Yeah, I was pretty much renting it, so I had to
yeah.
like return it, and like I had to take everything off of it. So I went a minute without it, but that was actually like earlier late 2011, but 2012 was when I finally like got a solid laptop I bought for my own.
Okay.
And I asked Justin, I was like, man, like, you think I make some dope ass beats? And I remember him saying like, bro, he's like, your sound would be big. Like, you'd have a big sound, like brass and shit like that. And I was just like, nah, like, I like soul beats, you know what I mean? Like, not thinking, like, I was going to incorporate the two, but... So I'm just, like, getting ideas from him and getting ideas from myself on, like, what I would do. And, yeah, 2012, like, I came out with, like, a few projects, like, you know, more so egotistical sounds. Like, I had just, like, figured out how to make beats. Bro, like, I go back and listen because I can find some of the old things that I did. Like, I was managed to get some of them. I'll go back and listen. I'm like, oh my god, like, what was I thinking? Like,
oh yeah, I feel you. It's almost like a little cringe.
The samples are cool, but
yourself.
nothing's on time. Like, I didn't know anything about the grids or markers or tempo. Like, I didn't know how to use a program too well. And like shit was just hella loud, and like I wasn't doubling on things. Like, I wasn't using any presets for, like, you know, any of the masters. Like, I just didn't know what I was doing. But like as I progressed and like I came out with like the Sun God project, that was like my first like spit in the face like beat tape after, you know, being let go from a French European label.
Wait.
Yeah.
Rewind.
European label.
Yeah.
So you got hooked up with.
Yeah. So after like I started actually getting enough to put sounds on SoundCloud, like I was putting sounds on there. Like this dude from New Orleans, France, by the name of John West. He was starting up his own label called O-Town Records, and he was like trying to get, you know, and it was all legit. Like everything was legit. Like they had contracts, like money was there, everything was cool. But as time progressed, like almost 3 months, like I remember like I'm waiting to hear back, you know, when I'm gonna fly out there, all this stuff, and they wanted me to start paying for all this stuff, and like I had just quit my job and all this other crap.
Yeah. Just didn't have the means.
Like, I just snapped off on the French American manager down in Texas. I just told him straight up. I was just like, dude, y'all are like pulling my leg. I can't.
Yeah, all of a sudden coming with that. We're gonna need you to pay for this.
Yeah, I snapped off, and he was just like, that's disrespectful, you know, no artist, whatever. And I'm like, you know what, you ain't nothing but a sandwich, bro. He called me up, he said I was a bad artist, and I was just like, you know what, I got you. So I put out the Sun God beat tape, which is, you know,
that was the spit in the face.
Yeah, that was the spit in the face. And then, you know, people was like, you should definitely put out more music and keep doing it, like, don't give up. But like, that was like the very first. So back in 2012 I started, and then I think it was like maybe 2015 maybe I was like, all right, I'm gonna put something out like decent. Like, what was that? I had a couple other projects that I put out beat tapes, but they're on a crash hard drive right now. So there's some projects that I released that aren't being heard right now that I made after that. But yeah, 2012, that's when I started, pretty much.
That's crazy. He was on a French European label for, even if it was just a short amount of time.
Like they were, it was like I said, it was a consideration, like a look, like I was almost like about to fly over there and sign a contract and get.
Well, he's about to get back into the French circuit
and like start producing.
We
like,
want you back.
They were like, we need you to produce 3 albums, 2 EPs, and on, you know, mixtape.
Oh yeah, so they gave you like, we need you to put this.
Yeah, we want you to do this type of work, and I was like, cool, bet, and we'll send you a contract, and once you complete this work, like you know, you get your advance and like all the other stuff that comes with that, the royalties and all that stuff. Like all that stuff was already figured out. Like it was legit, but it just got to the point to where it was just me and the dude talking. You know what I'm saying? Back and forth, and we were sharing samples, ended up sharing samples and making beats, and we started making. I started making the Fox and the Rabbit, the Lion. That beat tape actually started out with us. There's some beats on.
That's such a dope name. Did you come up with that?
Yeah, well,
the Fox and the Rabbit and the Lion.
Yeah, so like that name came up because like it's like that's like code. That's like code for me, pretty much like my mentality, like because like the rabbit for me is like the Chinese. I was born in the year of the rabbit.
Okay.
So and then you have the lion, which is like I'm a Leo. So and then the fox, which is like to me, the fox in Japanese folklore is kind of like sly, can, you know, kind of outsmarts himself, like, and that's what the fox represents. Like,
Nice.
kind of had to be like slick, and when I say that, I say under the eyes of like the government, like,
Right, okay.
pretty much like with my name being my name, and like pretty much having to, you know, get jobs with, like, you know, on a GED and shit like that, and just like kind of getting by, like living my life, like, you know, being a black man and kind of being like that fox, like just code switching when I need to.
Right.
So
Totally
Fox,
aware, like
Yeah.
self-aware, but also aware.
yeah.
of,
So
like,
the fox, the rabbit, and the lion is what that concept comes from. You know,
That's
luck. You know, the ability to code switch, and then, you know, my pride. So
And he fucks like a rabbit. I'm just kidding. just play it. And you just recently, I seen you dropped, and it's amazing. If anybody that's listening, and if you haven't heard it yet, go check out. Is it Sonic Gallery? Is the main title, and then it's
Sonic Gallery, the $1,000 beat tape. The ending title, $1,000 beat tape, comes from just because it's 10 beats and they're all going for 100 a pop. So.
I kind of put that together. I
Yeah.
love that Sonic Gallery,
Yeah.
and then $1,000 beat tape. That's perfect, dude. I love that.
Thank you. You know, I'm trying not to be big headed about it, but
Oh no,
I was on my clever bag.
we got room in here, dude.
I was on my clever bag on that one, so I appreciate the love on that. Like, I definitely, it sucked because all 10 of those beats are beats that I would want to keep for myself.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
had that beat tape was a beat tape that I was like, you know what? I keep doing that with a lot of the beats that I'm like, dude, this beat's hard. I'm putting this on my album. Like, I'm not
You have
gonna-
that attachment to it.
yeah, because I could do that. It's my beat. I made it. Like, but then I was just like, man, that's not gonna get me anywhere. Like, I need to like really learn how to get rid of hard ass sounds. And so when I made that beat tape, especially after, you know, finishing Coffee Shop and showcasing like the new sound the Astro Hop sound that I was coming with, I was like, I'm gonna start making beats just like this from now on, so I won't have a choice.
Yeah.
Period. Like, I'm not gonna have a choice but to get rid of the beat because I have
Strategic.
enough.
It was good,
I got 21 beats that sound just like that now for myself. I have no problem making more beats to get rid of so other people can have this sound.
Yeah.
So with Sonic Gallery, like, I wanted to give people a taste. You know, the sounds are, in general, if you listen to them from front to finish, it all flows.
Yeah.
But if you were to pick a song out individually,
Right.
it'd be like there's a beat for everybody.
Yeah.
On there, there's a switch
Dude, I
up
listened
for
to it.
everybody.
I was pumped, dude. I was like, holy shit. Like, when he dropped it, I was like, oh my God, dude. And obviously,
Thank
I
you,
liked it so
man.
much. We're getting, just so it's on record, any of you people
Thank you.
want to get on this, the art of nullification.
Yeah, the
I'm
art of
purchasing that
nullification.
one. Okay, so
Got it.
just so it's on record.
Harlem Nights is stolen too.
I love that
Yeah.
one. I mean, there was like so many others that I was like, man, this would be sick too.
Yeah.
Because I got that, I told you I got that collaboration with our buddy Ublar from France.
Yeah,
And that's why I think it's funny you'd already had, like, you were already kind of connected to that circuit over there.
I get a little bit of play out there now just through like my streaming platforms. Like I said, I tell people, like, it's cool that I didn't get that stuff to happen. Like, I'm not, like I said, I don't regret it.
For the better,
It's
obviously.
for the better, obviously.
You
Like, like when I think about it, like, it was definitely for the better. Like, because I'm still getting plays over there without them. So
Yeah.
And hopefully get more once we get this. No, I mean, the art of nullification. I'm just sorry to dwell on this one, but it's so dope. And then at the end, like, it's perfect for what I'm trying to go for because the dude is French. He's a French rapper or hip hop artist, and we're gonna do it like he'll rap first in French with English subtitles. We're gonna do a video for it, and then I'll rap in English with French subtitles. And at the end, maybe he'll go to English. It depends on what he wants to do. But when it switches up, there's like a real like jazzy kind of like chiller feel at the end of it.
Yeah.
He's gonna come in because I feel like that's totally like the sound that he could really flow over with that accent. And if he's gonna rap in French, just French lyrics in general. I'll pop back in. But I was like, this is perfect, dude.
Dude, thank you. That like, man.
Sonic Gallery, yo. Check that
That
out.
makes me that
You're
humble.
totally staying connected to France.
That humbles
Can't
my
escape
heart,
the shit.
though.
Yeah.
That humbles my heart that I like, because for me, I look at it as like I'm painting a picture, but then you guys with the vocals are gonna like paint the picture even more, and like that humbles me like a lot. The art of nullification too. That sound specifically, like that title is like the sound, like that's the sound of like that's what I want my sound to do when it changes your life. Like, I want you to be able to listen to something, and then like everything that's negative, like that's coming towards you, I want you to just to be able to nullify it.
Yeah,
literally, it has like, no matter like what it is, like it literally has no effect towards you and just goes right past you. Like if you can listen to one of my beats, and even if you, because I've had moments where like there's beats where I'll go and listen to it, and like I've cried where I'm just like, dude. Like, I was thinking about some stuff and I'm just like, man, like, and it completely like nullified like that depressive moment. Like, and like I never realized
just that
how,
alone.
Like,
sorry, it just adds to the depth of the track itself.
Yeah, like I never realized how much my music healed me, being able to actually express my feelings in the way that I do with everything that I've been through as a person. Like, especially like with everything that's going on now. Like, you know, not to get off subject, but for black men, like everyone's realizing, oh, black men need to be, we need to support black men because they've been pretty much, just like, black women. It's just like, yeah, it's true. Like,
right.
Some black men definitely need therapy, need healing, and like need to figure shit out. I think that the way to go about it isn't for everybody. Like, not everybody needs to see a therapist. I think people need to find their own way. And for me, like, all the trauma that I had to deal with, like, music was, a way to release that. So yeah,
that's awesome.
The art of Nullification was that sound. Like, that was that.
That was kind of in the back of my mind. I was like, what is he gonna think? Me and some French dude get on this?
No, man, I'm stoked on that. Yeah. Like, I'm stoked on that. Like I said, in general, I'm stoked that people are wanting to rap over my music as opposed to being, I don't know if I can rap over this, because it breaks your spirit a little bit when you get that told year and year and year and year after. You're a bad artist, or I can't rap over this. I always thought your beats were too slow. You know what I mean? It just, for a little while, you just like, almost makes you want to give up, but I don't know. I just couldn't, like, Aubrey knows, like, when someone doubts me, like,
fucking get fired up.
I get fired up, and I be proving people wrong. Like, that's what I do. Like, that's in my nature. Like, giving up, I don't even know how to do that shit. Like, I can't give up on some shit. Like, I've had people hang out with me, and like something happened with the program or whatever, and I couldn't figure it out, and it's like, oh no, bro, we can just figure it out. And like nah,
no, we're gonna do it. We're gonna figure it out.
We're gonna get it right, and I'm gonna get it right. Like, there's been plenty of times, but that's just in my nature,
That's awesome,
so,
dude.
I think also I hear a lot too, like, determination. My sound sounds like determination. I've heard Royce says that he hears like the determination in my sound, like that cinematic determination, and like that's another thing.
Cinematic determination.
Yeah, like I've heard that before.
I like that.
Like, and like, me and Wes have talked about this. Like, I also go for like, the sounds of like a city that works. You know what I mean? Like, not per se like Pittsburgh, but like per se, like, we got the river and we got people who do construction, so it's like, I feel like, the jazzy night scene, all the colors and the lights, and like, the boats and all that water and shit, people doing construction and all the welding, just like it all just like fits in the criteria of my sound. So the art of Nullification, like, that sound pretty much sums up like pretty much all that.
Hell yeah.
Like that's pretty
well,
much
I'm even
that.
more stoked to get on that for sure.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. You, like I said, you guys, all the artists who are hopping on my music have just blown my mind. Like, they're taking my music to new heights. I don't think people, I'm realizing it, but I don't think other people realize it. But this between now and next summer, I mean, I know there's other producers working with other people around here, but there's gonna be a lot of my music out next year.
Yeah, you're gonna be reaching a lot of ears, man.
Yeah,
whether it's just through your tracks in general or people hopping on them and recording to them.
That alone, just like that's all I ever wanted. Like, that's one of the things that's pretty much like, like, I just want to be able to like reach people's different ears. Like, now I know that I can do it, and people actually want to fuck with my shit. But it took me a while. Like, so this is for anyone out there. You don't give up on your shit. Like. Your shit's not in season right now. Your shit will be in season. Somebody's gonna run. You're gonna run across somebody, and somebody's gonna find your sound. Like, don't try to make what everybody else makes. Do you? Because
I'm tired of everyone imitating everything.
Yeah, I really am though. Like, if I would have given up and did what everybody else wanted to, or just stopped making beats, like, I definitely wouldn't be sitting here.
Right, you wouldn't be on the same.
You and Aubrey would have never rapped over that track. I wouldn't be living the house that I'm living in. Like, and all the stuff that's happening right now, like with the networking and meeting the people that I'm meeting, like that all like came about because I didn't give up and I didn't listen to everybody else. And I just did my own thing. So
it's so crazy. It is rooted within that perseverance, that you describe and you hold within yourself to, push past, some jackass says, you're a bad artist or something just because some shit doesn't work out. That's like some low-hanging fruit. He's just trying to pull down whatever he can to hurt you.
It sounds like they're a bad artist.
And what you do, you turn that
Yeah.
into a spit-in-your-face tape called Sun
God. Yeah.
Sun God. And I think it's just all history from there because, like you said, I feel like we're getting to, I don't want to say we're at, but I feel like we're getting to around here, it's probably just my perception, a crest or a peak of creative, like willingness to work with each other. And also individually, we all know what we're aiming for, and it just happens to have that same energy, resonates that same energy of...
Yeah. Well, the people who all know that we need to work, like, who all knows that this shit ain't gonna work individually. And, like, we need to all put our hands together and, support each other. Like I said, when I say ain't nobody fucking with me, that's not saying I don't want to work with no other producers. You know what I'm saying? That's just letting everybody else know, like, hey, I got a sound that can help catapult everybody else, like just like you got a sound that can help catapult everybody else. And we all need to come together and have that same mentality. Can't nobody fuck with us here in the QC right now. The cream's rising to the top.
Yep.
Everybody who's putting in work and show forth like what they can do, like it's coming up. Like, you got what? Sons of Mars. You got
dude.
You got
so many.
You got Jabez. You got Xavier's been on. You got you. Like, there's so many artists like that have been doing a lot, even if it hasn't been locally around here musically, and they've been great at what they're doing. And now the QC is at a point to where we can showcase all that work without them having to like leave. Even though I personally don't recommend anyone trying to like I said, I don't want to like sound like trying to claim the QC or anything like that. Definitely venture out of here, make this your fan base if you can. But the QC is just one place. Like, it's just a small spot. Like, start here, but like the QC needs to learn how to support his music scene so that we don't feel that way. We don't feel like we need to conquer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So people don't feel like they need to conquer. Like, no, like now we're at a point to where people know there's a hip hop scene and not just a hardcore scene. You know what I'm saying? Because we know each other from the hardcore metal scene. We don't know each other from the hip hop scene.
Exactly. It's because of that perseverance of, like you said, Xavier's been around.
Yeah, Xavier's been doing this thing for a minute.
Artists like that and yourself, and Ob's doing his thing with spoken word and poetry, and then venturing off.
There's so many good artists.
It's because of that perseverance that because I feel like me and Cody have been making hip hop since 2012.
Yeah, at least
not as much as I would like, as much as we would like releasing wise, but I still feel like I'm not solidified within the scene yet, and it's because of those artists like yourself and Xavier and dudes that have been doing it and still continue to do it. It's like we're kind of grasping onto that support and that love that everybody's showing for each other, and it hasn't stopped.
And that's what I was going to say. I was going to say I would definitely put you up there in that category. Even like you said. Like, I mean, even if we haven't, none of us have been doing it to the longevity of the 10-year.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I put 10 years into this. Like, nobody's hooting and hollering, crying and that. But at the same time, it's like, I definitely get where you're coming from on that aspect, because that's how I'm feeling. Like, people are showing love to the people who might have been doing it as long, but didn't get that clout back when they, you know what I'm saying, or whatever.
Right.
Like, now the people who should have been showing that love is getting that love. And that's not to take love from everybody else. Like I said, there are a bunch of good artists out there. Like, I could go on all day, especially locally. Like, we got Jordan Atwater.
Yeah.
Like, we got the whole East Side, like that whole East Side tribe, like that whole thing, like that's a shebang. Like, bro, like, we got like Nate Soul running it. Nate Soul, like doing his, like listen to his stuff, like him showing me stuff. Like, he got bops. Like, there's so many great producers, so many people out there in general, from here to Des Moines. Like, there's artists that Brett showed me, Novette. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Isaiah, like, dude, like, there's so many
Isaiah,
Flunes.
sure,
like, he just come out. Like, there's so many good in general here in this cluster of the Midwest where we're pretty much not known because we're not Chicago or St. Louis. Now we're finally getting that. Like we're finally getting, but we're doing it ourselves. We're doing it ourselves. We're not.
There's no falseness. And
we're not
like
chasing nobody's coattail. There's no falseness, and we've also at the same time like we all realize like. One, we need to weed out the motherfuckers who are foul.
Exactly, and it almost is like a natural happening. Like it happens naturally, natural.
That's what I was gonna say. Another thing, working with Obs and Jabez and you, like, has all been like a natural. Like these are people that I wanted to work with, but like the natural way that it happened. Like it's just like it wasn't a forced thing. And one thing I know I learned as a producer is like, all the artists that you work with, it needs to be a natural thing. It never needs to be forced. So anyone who ever came to me and was just like, hey, I'm trying to work with you, I want beats, like, it never worked out. Like, it never worked out because it wasn't natural. Like, it ended up being, like, they never ended up coming through. They never ended up buying beats from me. And I just felt like, oh, shit, I guess I wasn't really all that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I just felt worthless because, like, shit, they all hyped me up, but it wasn't a natural connection as to where, like, now the people that I'm fucking with now, it's just, it's just all love. Like, I feel like a fucking, not to sound, again, cocky or anything like that. Like, I feel like a king, though, like, when I'm fucking with people that I fuck with. Like, the love is just there. Like, and I hopefully I make them feel that same way when I'm, like, working with them. Like, I want to give that same energy back, bro. But, like,
For sure. It's so, and it is super, like, I don't know if reciprocal is a word even, but it is reciprocated. The support and the love for. And I gotta give a shout out to Aubrey because, I mean, obviously I would have never started. We would have never linked up if it wasn't for Aubrey.
Never linked up.
But Aubrey's ability to draw people in, you could say maybe with his personality, your MC skills in general, but I feel like that has a big part. It has to do with like a big part of that crest that I was talking about I feel like we're heading to of like, total community support, love, and also talent. Like, and like you said, it naturally weeds out the, I don't want to say untalented because that's, I guess, subjective, but
or unmotivated,
disingenuous, I guess.
Yeah, the disingenuous, unmotivated, the people who just want to kind of be the Judas or ride on the coattail, just to, just to get that clout and just befriending you just because, like,
right
that's something I'm personally looking out for. Like, sorry bro, but anybody finna be riding on my coattail. Like,
hey, can I get on a King Supreme beat?
Like you wasn't with me when I was shooting in the gym. You're not gonna be in here like when I get the trophy,
when I get the scholarship.
You're not gonna, like, period. Like, that's, I mean, that goes for any woman or anybody, like, in music too. Like, I don't care. Like, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. Like, who's with me right now? You're definitely not gonna be reaping none of the benefits of that. Like, and I feel like the people who know, like I said, like you said, know what needs to be done and what we want to do and how we need to do it. Like, we aren't even talking anymore. We're just doing it.
Right. On that level of like you said, not even verbal.
We're all moving consciously as one, even though we're still off on our own thing.
Yeah.
Like, but
we're a body, but different parts.
Yeah, exactly. And with that, I think pretty much every one of us has been able to dip our hands into a little bit something different now within what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like, me myself, like the fashion thing, I've always been into fashion. Like, now I'm able to dip my hands into that, networking with certain people. You know what I'm saying? And people, photography and things like that. All the stuff that I wanted to get into is because I've finally met like-minded people who are supporting, and I'm showing like the support too, like, all around. Like, it's just working out for everybody. Everybody's able to. You see that small community uprising, we're just like, oh shit, motherfucker's about to come out. Like, right. Like, this is actually happening. Like, I'm actually witnessing this. Like, but it's like, like, it's so positive and so uplifting. Like, you don't even want to talk about it.
Exactly. I almost felt bad even saying crest. That's why I didn't say we're at the crest tip.
It's just one of those things where it's just like,
that would just mean,
I haven't talked about none of the moves I've been making. Like, I've been keeping my shit on the DL just
Silence
because I've been
the modus operandi.
I've been so, like, low key on the stuff that I've been doing. Like, I feel blessed. It's a blessing. Like, even doing this little podcast interview. Like, I told Aubrey I was stoked and nervous at the same time. I'm like, man, this is awesome.
I was stoked to have you on and get some insight into your
talk to me. I'm boring as hell. All I do is make beats. Like, I'm boring as fuck. Who was that?
And that's what's crazy is there's so many dimensions to your artistry and what you do, and everybody, of course, but. I was stoked personally too because I was, you know, you said you were humbled earlier, but I was humbled, just as humbled, if not more, to be on your track with a lyricist like Obs, and it literally, I'm not trying to talk about myself here, but me personally, it opened up like a floodgate in my mind for like how stoked I am for the people around here, the other artists. You know, you can ask Cody before, I was all cynical, like, man, you know, fuck anybody else who doesn't, you know, do the shit that I want. But it's like,
I feel that being like a thing. Like,
but it's like, you know who you're talking about when you say that.
right, exactly. Like, I still feel that way about those
people that are
types,
unmotivated. They're just, you know, doing fake shit or whatever.
It gets down to that though. Like, it does take the learning experience of fucking with the wrong people, and like I said, the people who we all fuck with don't fuck with any of the same people.
Yeah.
And like, if we do, we talk about why we don't fuck with that person, and we know why. Like, we're not gonna go out openly and, you know, get on social media and do all that.
Yeah, get on a soapbox.
But at the same time, like, it, you know, it takes that. You gotta learn. It's all about, like I said, at the end of the day, it was like Nipsey Hussle said, like, you know, I just don't give up though.
Yeah.
Stay 10 toes down and like don't give up, and you know, other producers I've learned from, like, it might not be your season. When your season comes around, you'll be ready if you just don't give up. Like, you know,
falls
what I'm
into place like naturally.
Everything needs to be natural. When things start working out naturally, like whether it's a moment, like I know for me, I'm making the transition to be a full-time producer and other things, and like not work a corporate job, but like I should be worried as fuck for my life right now, and like everything, but like I just feel
according to
positive. Like, I feel so good and positive because like everything's working out that I just like, I'm not afraid of like the failure part or like falling or like whatever it is that might come. Like, I'm just like, nah, this is working out. Like, this is gonna happen. Like, and I took the leap of faith and I like put my hands in. Like, I wanted to make my own recipe for a pie, and I'm gonna do that shit. And you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna get a piece and I'm gonna share the pieces of the pie. I ain't gonna be stingy like everybody else. I'm gonna share the piece of the pie, and everybody gonna eat, and we all be one merry, happy ass family up at this motherfucking Quad Cities place. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's taking right now. Everybody's learned from their mistakes. We learn who we don't want to fuck with. We learn who we do want to fuck with, and now we're executing actions.
Definitely.
We're not talking about it. We're just executing. Now everything's not working out the way it should be 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some bumps, especially with, you know, like I said, not everybody on board to supporting a hip hop community. Like, you still have people who don't acknowledge the fact that there's like hip hop or poetry around here.
Well, that's just ignorant.
I mean?
At this point.
Yeah.
They just don't realize.
You think about it, like,
Yeah.
you think about it, like, we know there's a blues fest, we know there's a jazz fest, we know there's a Jamaica festival, we know all that stuff. There's no hip hop fest.
Right.
Or even like a multi-genre thing where it's like more stuff, like even just punk or whatever, metal.
The multi-genre fest, what happens is Ross Talks.
Right.
That's
or
true.
when we get the Supper Club, or, you know, what's going to be like in the future, like, those were the multi-genre fests. We were doing that on our own. The community was the bigger, greater community, music community. They're just now chiming in. You know,
they're just now coming to us.
You know who I'm talking about. They're just now.
I already have a couple emails from this morning. We go in places like. It's like, how are you guys doing this?
Yeah. Well, the thing is like, you have people bad mouthing the hip hop community and all this other stuff, and you have the wrong people running it. From what I've seen from the history. And I don't care if anyone watched this interview and is like, oh, who's that kid or who's that young man think he's talking about? Like, I used to run these hip shows. You know what? Like, fuck them, because you guys.
Fuck that guy you're thinking about, because I think we're thinking about the same dude.
You ran it wrong, and not only that, but like you ran it stereotypically.
Yeah,
like,
you didn't run with the.
So if you had any problems, it's your own fault. Like, you can't blame the community for that, and we're not gonna sit here and let somebody else say, well, you guys had like fights and all this other stuff. Nah, like, I don't remember none of that shit.
Dude, when you bring
I don't remember none of that shit.
That's what I'm saying.
And if you're running shows where you're inviting, where you're running big names, like big fucking billboard names, and you're trying to sell out little bars and shit like that, what the fuck do you think?
It's mainly money based, and that's where usually the problems come.
Yeah, like,
because you can still make money from, you know, setting up hip hop or rap shows, but don't invite people like Stitches or Volatile.
Don't invite the crowds that like you think is gonna have if you think you can't control. Like, I'm not gonna say don't invite a crowd you think you can't handle, because like I said, that still goes beyond
right. You can't
stereotyping. Like, but if you have a feeling about something, then you set the show up in a way it can be ran so that you motherfuckers can still have a good time. Don't sit here and say, well, we don't want to do this anymore because somebody got stabbed or fights and we ran this and those kind of people. Like, bro, first off, like, I don't ever want to hear you say those kind of people ever again.
Right.
So that, at the end of the day, like I said, like, we as a community, like, we're taking it upon ourselves to do things the right way and show people, you know, we actually don't need you. We don't care about your opinion because, one, you're 40 years old. Like, whatever you did before we were running shit, it obviously didn't work.
You did it wrong.
Yeah.
It wasn't that it was wrong. You just went about it the wrong way.
And no, we're not perfect. We've made mistakes. We've got things going on that, like, you know, happen that have had us to reevaluate how we're going about things. But let alone, like, are we, like, we're not letting that, you know, deter us from what we want to do. No, like, we bounced right the back fuck up.
Right.
And shit's still popping. And that love right there, like, and that type of dedication is exactly what the hip hop community here needs. If we could just get everybody to be like, you know what, we support y'all just like we support all the other stuff. Like, let's throw a hip hop music festival, and I feel like they did something like that.
I can't wait till that shit goes down.
Multi-genre fest where it's just like, you know, let's have the jazz and the blues.
We'll talk about that off air.
Off air, yeah. Like,
when I hear multi-genre, of course, my first thought is like playing back in the metal band. I'd go to a multi-genre show, or the guy who was setting the shit up at Mixtapes down in East Moline. When
those were mixtapes. Mixtapes were the days.
There was a lot of, like, you know, noise bands and some folky stuff, and then you have like a deathcore band that's playing like groovy breakdowns.
Everybody was like standing. Like,
right, yeah. Everybody stuck around.
Nobody. I mean, plus it was always cold all the time. We always had shows in the wintertime.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But mixtape days, man. Yeah. I remember being packed in that little space right there, like, especially if you're sitting on the windowsill where they had a little ledge, dude, and like watch like different just sounds and genres come through that stage, like, and being one of the bands that played on that stage, like,
thinking back on it, it's like an honor.
I mean, even though it wasn't like the hip hop wasn't involved, like, but it was multi-genre to me. And when I say multi-genre now, like, I think like we, especially like with the way Ross Talks does things, and like, we could definitely have a hip-hop show or call it a hip-hop, or it be a multi-genre show where it's like, we can involve other parts of the community as long as they're going to recognize that hip-hop's a part of the thing too. Like, like I was saying, the blues and the jazz. You got the blues and the jazz fest, then you got your, you know, whatever, you're making my weekend. You got all these festivals that are literally like closely related in genres or branched off from each other, like whether you like it or not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might as well have one big ass fucking festival, multi-genre. Like, you know what I'm saying? And don't just dig out the fucking hip hop community.
Right. Really showcase every genre.
We got a blues fest and a jazz fest, and then we got You're Making My Weekend.
What do you think are the elements in hip hop?
You know what I mean? It's just, it's like, oh, this is what we think people like. It's like, well, hey, have you ever come to our hip hop shows? Like, we might not, they might not be that huge, but I guarantee you, people have a good time and enjoy themselves.
Right, the energy and the love flowing around.
People come out of the woodwork like for that stuff. Like, people, you know, they come like dressed to impress. Like, they got the grills on and the chains.
Right,
it's like people that I would like hang out or like, you know, not saying like, you know, whatever, but like people come out to the shows and have a good time and like there's no evil energy.
No, of course.
I've never sensed that.
I feel like the community, I guess the creative community in general, but more along the lines of hip hop or rap or even spoken word, is very self-aware.
Yeah.
This isn't like some, I mean, in regards to like, you know, a venue that's been around setting up a show or being apprehensive to setting up like a rap or hip hop show, it's not the same case as it was maybe a decade ago. I feel like it's more so. Well, obviously they were doing it wrong a decade ago because they were focused on the hype of it.
Yeah, that's why I feel like they were focused.
There's more genuine elements flowing around.
I don't know, man. Maybe someone was genuine about bringing good music to it, but I've never heard of any hip hop shows really locally. Besides, like, if I did hear any names, like a big name who came through, like Ribco or like something like that, like a long time ago. Like, it was just like, well, we had this guy come in. It was like, you know, a name that was like a, you know, a hot hitter on the, like, had music on the radio. It was like, well, I mean, you had that show happen decades ago and this big name, but like, did you you know, do your research? Did you know, did you have proper things in place?
And I personally haven't heard of anything crazy going down.
I've never heard anything crazy. So it's just like, when these things, like I said earlier, when I hear people say these things, like, I just like, fuck you, like, pretty much, like, I don't care, like, I don't care what you have to say about it, because obviously you didn't do it right. Like, you might have done it first, but you didn't do it right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do it right. so just leave it alone. Like, support us or just leave us alone. Period.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, it's nice for us to be able to do things the way we want to do them. But we're also at a time now though where we can take power into our own hands.
Totally.
We weren't in that position like that a long time ago. Like, especially with us being younger and not really knowing any better and all. Probably
looking to somebody
and just being in
yeah.
bands because you're doing whatever. Like, yeah, like we definitely didn't have that like mindset we do now, the mature mindset we do now of everything. But we also have seen things from, I'd like to say for personally, I can't speak for everybody, but I've seen a lot of things, especially with the way I've been blessed lately, like from a bird's eye view, like of how things can work and will work and should work, like and all 360-degree aspect, like, and it's just like, dude, like I said, I can't even be like stressed out about, you know, certain things. I'm just like, man, I've seen everything from a bird's eye view. Like, if we keep doing what we're doing, like, we won't have a problem.
Exactly. I can already see, like you're describing, it could be multi-genre, but I'm honestly thinking a total hip-hop and rap and lyricism and beatsmith type festival, really showcasing the talent around here. It's weird because with the things that are going on right now within the community, at least like from my perspective and the perspective that we all share, it becomes like a beacon to the surrounding areas. Like you said, a dude from Des Moines or, you know, Cedar Rapids or somewhere in Illinois or something, to come here and play more, and then it just kind of builds on that.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, we I like the kids. I like to think of like that, like the kids, because like when I think about it, like the kids around here, I don't really see a lot of kids going to shows unless it's at nowadays like Rostock's or like the, you know, theater downtown, Davenport, things like that, theater stuff. I don't see a lot of kids at shows. So another thing is like that, like the communities around, surrounding communities and like within like the kids. Like, that's what I think about when I think about that. Like, I'm thinking about the kids in the upcoming generations. Like, they'll have something to look forward to.
Oh yeah.
And things like that. We can build that stuff for them.
A forum or a platform.
For them, yeah. So they can do that and keep it going. So it's almost like having generational wealth, but like musical generational wealth.
Yeah,
sense,
hell
you know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, where the community is as a constant support, so it becomes a historical thing where it's like, man, this musician came from here, this musician came from here. Like, you know what I mean? You're gonna have those murals downtown on your underpass, like, you know, of all the great musicians that came and started this come up out of this city. Like, I want that to be a thing, like, where it happens around here. You know what I mean? Like, that's a dream for me. Like, I want motherfuckers to be like, what's the Quad Cities about? Bro, you know what I mean?
Take
like,
your pick, man.
Yeah, take your pick. Like, go there. Like, a lot of great musicians came from there. A lot of new sounds came from the QC, just like how it is with the East Coast and the West Coast. Like, that's what I want the Quad Cities to be to the history of. I want us to add to the history of music.
Definitely.
Pretty much.
It's definitely gonna happen.
Not hurt it, you know. At least not take away from it.
Yeah, I want
sure.
to add to the history of music. I want it to be a reason. Like, I want some things to change in the course of history as far as music goes, and like, to be recognized. Like how Kanye West is to be implemented in the, you know, how he changed the course of like certain things. Like, they had to put him in like a history book. Like, as far as like how that shit like, you understand? Like, that's the type of impact I want our community to have. Like,
dude, I don't know if you guys have heard some of that shit with the choir that he's doing, but it's fucking dope.
I love it.
I love it.
Okay, so I love the Sunday services. Like,
that's what Sunday service is.
Yeah, I love the Sunday service stuff. He says he's gonna stop making secular music though.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And do gospel. And I'm gonna let you guys know right now. Like, anybody who knows me, like, I'm 100%. Like, I defend Kanye, like 100%. Except for there's some shit I don't. There's things I don't agree with. Obviously, there's things I don't agree with, and I'm not gonna get on, like, 'cause I don't want to. I'm not trying to like. Yeah. I'm not trying to have that divided like conversation. But as someone who looks up to him as a producer, I'm just gonna say this, like, and someone who stepped away from religion in general, especially religion that crippled my people, I can't get into gospel.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what he does with this gospel.
I think it's gonna be dope nonetheless, just because it's fucking.
It might be dope, but like, it's not gonna be. I don't feel like it's gonna be the Kanye that I'm used to hearing.
It's probably good that you don't have those expectations either.
I don't have, and it's probably going to be different. And that's, I feel like when I seen that, and it sucks to say, I feel like this is where me and Kanye actually like part ways. Like I don't look at him as an idol anymore. Yeah. Like I actually look at Kanye West as someone that I'm going to be better than now. Yeah. Like that's nice. Yeah, like I don't like, okay, goals. you're gonna step down from the throne, and I'm gonna take it. Like that's how I looked at it. Like he's literally left the throne for the open. And now my ass is just like, bro, I'm gonna fucking take that shit. Like, you want to watch the throne, and then you told nobody not to let you enter your zone, and you entered your zone, and you got up out that shit. Yeah. I'm finna enter the zone, and I'm gonna take this motherfucking throne. Yep. So go ahead, Kanye, make your gospel music.
Not to keep talking about Kanye, like in the past, like when he was really like, I guess I know he made music long before he was like popping in the. Within like the mainstream music circuit, but like when he was popping, I was like, I don't see the appeal. Like I didn't like it, and I honestly really didn't like it. Like I had like almost like a, I was like, this sucks, you know. But then
I feel what you're saying.
Years later, looking back, I'm like, well, he's growing as an artist, and I've seen him grow as an artist and a producer, whatever it be, songwriter. Because really, that's what you are. You're a songwriter. Anybody who structures music like that is a songwriter, I feel like. But I've like gained more of a respect for him within the music aspect, and especially now seeing him with the choir. Like I love like gospel choirs and stuff.
Yeah,
I love that.
I love it. Like, it sounds good, especially like when you like incorporate, like if you can take gospel and like make like bangers out of it. Right, like, that's hard. Like now, see if he was gonna do that, like that'd be a different story. But he says he's gonna make gospel. So like when I think of the gospel he's talking about though. I'm thinking like Kirk Franklin, like because Kirk Franklin are best friends.
I think it's like when he says that, you never know what's gonna happen. So I'm like, yo, like what? Like
it could be hard, bro.
Yeah, I think
when you say
it'll be hard in its own right. I think.
Yeah, when you say stop making secular, like I'm like thinking like, okay, you said stop making secular, so you're literally because he talks about the Sunday service and how like they take the 808s and certain sounds that have negative energy and vibes, like they try. Yeah, like Letterman. Watch the Letterman. You ever watched him on the Letterman thing? No. My next guess is watch that. And he talks about certain things he doesn't like to say anymore, certain things he doesn't want to. And I'm totally like respectful of like because it's healing for him, and like. But at the same time, when I put that together, because I'm a very observant person who soaks things in, and I kind of like puzzle my own pieces together. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, like he's definitely stepping away from that type of music that got him where he is, and he's going back to his roots, which is totally fine. Like gospel is a lot of people's, like I said, most of the people like producers that I look up to were gospel musicians or had played in church. So it's just like when I think of gospel though and Kanye West, I think of gospel like Kirk Franklin gospel. And that's where I'm just like
straight up worship sessions.
Yeah, so for me I'm gonna have to wait to say, but as of right now I'm kind of on the fence. I'm gonna just let it be. Like I'm as far as right now I'm trying to be better than Kanye West. If he's gonna make gospel music, then I'm gonna kill his ass. As far as beat making goes, like I'm coming out there, I'm trying to break your neck, Kanye West, with beats. Like so
you heard it here first.
I know it sounds super cocky, but that's someone that I looked up to. Like I was like, man, I want to be as good as Kanye West. But now I'm just like, I can be better than Kanye West.
Yeah, that's a good path of thought to have.
Back to your thought on like, or how you felt on that. Like, I grew up listening to, especially like, because I didn't know Kanye West was making a lot of the sounds that I was listening to.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that aspect.
It wasn't until he came out with his own stuff, and also Diplomats when he was producing for the Dipset.
Oh,
Diplomats,
that's a group.
like Cameron and Joel Santana's, Petey Crack, all those dudes. Like when he was making beats for those, all those like super fast chopped up soul samples, I was making niggas just like that stuff. Like that's the way he would flip soul samples. Like you ever hear people talk about Kanye West, they always talk about, you know, Kanye soul beats, or like the way Kanye West could flip up a soul sample. That's why like his sound, like, because he took like what the forefathers, like, I mean, there was fathers before these two, but J Dilla and Q-Tip, like those two are like, to me, like gods. And he took like, I feel like he took like J Dilla or like Q-Tip sound, like meshed it, and then like he does the whole like speed up soul stuff, and like
it sounds dynamic.
Yeah, it's very dynamic, and like that was hot for a time because you had Twisted trying to rap over like sped up soul beats. Really? Everybody trying to rap over a sped up like soul sample type beat.
Yeah,
like you got Big Crit's song, what is it that he came out with that Crit Here. Yeah. That sped up soul sample, like that's an inspiration. Like I know, like I mean, Crit is one hell of a fucking producer, but he is inspired. Like everyone's inspired by something that came before them, and like
right.
That's what Kanye had. Like he had that sound, and so some people don't get it. Some people think he's trash, especially because the people are like, oh, Jay Dilla's, no, nothing better than Jay Dilla, but like something can always be taken and progressed to a new level. So, and
that's the thing, man. Sorry to interrupt. I mean, I've found myself doing this, especially a lot more in the past. It's like you see or hear something, a song, whatever, and you're like, wow, it's a little derivative of what I just heard a little bit ago, or wow, that sounds, what a ripoff, But to also take into consideration, like, just like buildings and helicopters and everything you see in like modern day life, nothing came from outer space. It all came from the earth. You know what I'm saying? So same with music. Everything we hear, we're consuming, and then we take these little bits. No matter how much we don't want to admit it, we just take these little bits or inspirations, and then we build our own.
And then we build our own and make our own. Like and that's all it's like really pretty much ever been. Like it's just like it's crazy because it's just like Rakim said. It's like people don't like to like look back to the predecessors or like people who kind of. He's like, but I did. He's like, I wouldn't have the style that I had because he just got named #1 in the top 50. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. So, which I've always thought Rakim was one of the
I'm sure greatest. You among a lot of others too.
I personally, for someone who loves the music like now, but I love 80s hip hop, Rakim was to me the god. Like, he's like. I can listen to his music now and like he still raps better than anyone I've ever come across. Besides because he likes Kendrick Lamar and stuff like that too. But like when I think about all the people who has style and swag, like who incorporated that style and swag, I think about Rakim and Big Daddy Kane. Yeah, because those two literally brought like a jazzy swag that no one else is bringing, and those two alone started a fad of like motherfuckers trying to be, what I'm saying, like that swag they had, and like that shit just progressed, like, and you can hear it like even with Will Smith, like bro, Summertime Will Smith, like they talked about that shit on the Breakfast Club. Like people thought that Rakim wrote that song, really? Summertime by Will Smith, because of the way that he raps. Like, but Will Smith never, I mean, he probably consciously like ode to Rakim, but he's, what I'm saying, him and Rakim actually went on tour, like they, Rakim talked about it, but I thought that was cool because like that just goes to show you, like, we're at a point now where like, pretty much nothing is our own at this point. Everything's been taken and recycled, and we just make a little bit of our own, like you said, and it just Rakim was like, learning from him and hearing him say that he looked up to these old school cats that I don't even personally think, because I listened to rap before Rakim, I'm just like,
yeah.
Like
me
that's
and my friends about
the movie. Like, that's what I hear, and I'm just like, but then like I hear Rakim, I'm just like, you know what I mean? But like I get it. I get where he's coming from because what I'm saying, we all do that. But like, nah, man, like that. Yeah, dude, like that. Listen to doing that stuff. Like listen to that and just giving credit to who came beforehand. Like, and we take a little bit of that stuff before and we make it our own. Like that's what we do, man.
It's a beautiful thing, us having so much I mean, we really do, especially at this point in time. We don't have to go to a store, pick up a random record and be like, take it home and be like, oh, this is fucking awesome. I mean, it's fun doing that, I'm sure, but
great,
we have so much access to, we can look up the predecessors and the forefathers of any genre, and we have so much access to all this stuff. It almost forms a new, like, I guess, like I was saying, I don't want to say recycled, but, we take all these influences and almost everything that we can think of has been done before. But with so much access to everything, it's like, I mean, Astro Hop, for instance, it's like, that shit ain't been done before. Yeah. Well, maybe that or that style or energy has been incorporated, but I mean, I love Astro Hop, the idea of it. I can't wait till y'all get some shirts.
I wanted to ask, so you started in like 2012, basically, making the beats. How long from 2012 did you come up with that phrase, like Astro Hop?
Astro Hop, well, like, let's see. Because it happened like months ago when him and I had a conversation this summer in my room, but I've never I didn't know what to call my sound. Like I just called it outer space. Like it's outer space sound. Like that's just what I was like. Oh, it's like outer space sound. You know, lo-fi. Pretty much like if anyone was like, oh, lo-fi, like spacey, I was like, yeah, like that. Like that's what I was saying. I didn't really. Astro Hop was just never really a thing that came to me until I described it to him, and he was just like, you know, on that. It was just both of us being on that edge of the cusp of something and being like, yeah, invention, boom, you know what I mean? So it happened this summer. Astro Hop came this summer. It's just the sound, the name for it. It's just, I never really, it was either out of space or lo-fi or EDM or some shit like that.
Yeah, Astro Hop is a totally like almost, it's just a different lane. I feel like I think there's so much power within that Astro Hop in itself, in and of itself.
Yeah.
To roll within that lane.
Yeah, I wanted it to be my own lane. Like I didn't want to make what everybody else was making. I don't want to be like everybody else. Like one, because I would like, regardless, like I feel like a different person. Like especially,
nobody likes pigeonholing themselves as an artist. I hate being like, oh, we're alternative hip hop or something like that.
No, like I said, but even though I do get ideas from things and I make them my own, but like I'm me. Like this is my sound. Like I'm not trying to be like anyone else. Yep. And so at the end of the day, like like I don't want to be put in a category. I don't want to be put in a box. I don't think anyone really does. No. But I think the people who do and then don't do anything about it are the people who they went for something that wasn't them.
Yeah.
And so that's, you know what I mean. But for me, like, you know, I'm not gonna let nobody put me in a box because I didn't go for something that wasn't me.
Exactly.
So.
And you've actually turned down. It sounds like opportunities to go for something that wasn't you, especially with artists coming to you. Like,
I've had people like trust me. I've had people come to me and and I'm pretty sure they were gonna pay me for work, and that's cool. But it's not about that for me. Like I said, an artist that I want to work with, like I'm working with them now, or in the means of working with them. They're all people that I want to work with have now come. It's working full circle, but. There are people come to me and they're just like, I want this sound or I want this and that. I'm just like, dude, that's just not how it works. And I get it, like, you're an upcoming producer, you can't do that. You got to, blah blah blah. You got to do this. You got to be like, you got to take everything. It's just like, no, I don't. Like
exactly. Yeah. Like, no, I really don't.
You don't have to. No, like, work with the people you want to work with. And don't let somebody like tell you have to do a certain thing to get to a certain place. Like because, like I said before, like. I took a completely different path. Like I stayed in my own lane. I didn't take nobody else's. Didn't follow nobody's footprints, blueprints, nothing. Like I just did all this stuff the way I'm doing it. And I mean, it took some time, but it's working out the way it's supposed to work out.
I can see the momentum, like you know what I'm saying, and not in the sense that it's gonna stop at any point, but I can see, like, especially lately, man. That's
it's kind of scary, man. Like I said,
right?
I said, to watch it happening.
You're like, when is this gonna end? Like, I hope it doesn't. Yeah.
Like no, like because it's just like because I already know. Like I was just telling Aubrey, like I'm gonna get to that point to where like I'm not gonna realize how much work I'm doing and how much work I have until I get to a point where like it's gonna be a year ahead, and I'm like, damn, I haven't stopped to realize where I'm at.
Yeah,
like, and I don't ever want to. I don't want to get to that point, but I know what's gonna happen. So like right now, I'm like watching everything and like kind of soaking it in, but at the same time, I'm like, I gotta stay consistent and stay focused and not.
It's an art in and of itself.
Yeah. So man. Like it's crazy, bro. Like Quad Cities is on the come up. Like, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. I'm glad to have people that are a part of it to be a part of it. Like I said, there are too many amazing artists out here alone that are just doing, a lot of work and are crucial to the growing of this community right now. There are a lot of artists out here, that are crucial. That just in case all your artists out, local artists out here, we do think y'all are crucial to the growing and the movement of this community. So. I know some people out here feeling like they ain't getting love, but we love you. We need you. We need you in here, just like everybody, everything else, So,
that's dope, dude.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you said that too.
No,
because
dude,
a lot of people looking from the outside might think like, oh, so and so thinks they're the best, or thinks that they're better than others. But to really level with people like that, that's perfect.
Me personally, like, I can't speak for everybody else. I can't speak for everybody in the QC. I know I don't show support to everything around here, and I'm not very prevalent on social media as much as people want me to be, or I don't go out as much as people want me to come to these events. I know I don't go, so I don't expect people to come out and support me at all, like, because I can't always do that. But I literally, like, unless I really don't like your music, like I support every local artist. Like I try to like, even if I don't talk to you, like if I haven't talked to you in 5 years, if I see someone post a little music video you got coming out or whatever, I'm sharing it on my page. Like I'm always gonna show support. I love all the artists around here. And even though some of them don't fuck with me, but like the community, the hip hop community itself, and all the artists that are involved and that we fuck, like we all love each other. And like if you don't think that you're not loved or you feel like you're not getting the love, bro, all the love is there. Like you're feeling like you're just staying in the pocket right now, but your time will come, like to where
not in season yet. Just yet,
not in season, like bro, like. But every artist out here needs to feel like they do need, like right now, we need to make sure everybody feels supported. So like, you know, I know some artists out here are feeling like they ain't getting the love. I know, and I see some of the posts y'all been putting on social media. I see it. But
you just gotta tap into that. It's there, man.
It's there.
Flowing.
Like,
you just gotta tap in, reach
trust
out.
Me, I felt the same way though. I saw her. I just didn't think nobody would fuck with me.
Yeah, I hear you.
I was just like, nah, man. I be showcasing your shit, and motherfuckers is like, who the fuck is this dude? Like, where the fuck has he been? And it's just like,
dude, shout out to Obs for sure. Because
shout out to Aubrey. Aubrey. Honestly, like a lot of the stuff that had been happening for me as well. Like at all of it. You know, I have to give credit to Aubrey and Beach Dillard too. Like, you know. Him grabbing me and being like, hey, you want to be a part of this project, this new groove project in this house, and doing this and that. Like I have to give credit to those two guys because, which Aubrey, he's been in the beginning of the new groove stuff too. Like I met Aubrey and I didn't know him all too well, and like we definitely started off not on like bad feet or anything, but just like doing different things with what we were doing before we got into a process where we're working together.
Right.
But like, yeah, if it wasn't for Aubrey bringing along and Beach bringing along Aubrey, like I don't know what I don't think I would be doing as much networking with any people that I'm doing. So
right.
Definitely owed props to those two. Like,
I'll say the same thing too. I just before y'all came over, I was mentioning kind of like I feel like it's because I'm went over and
you came
musically hooked up with.
You came to all the new groove meetings actually.
I came to the very first
we
one.
had at Ross Times,
and my dumb ass was like, I texted Beach. I was like, man, I got work right now. I'm like kind of half homeless. I don't want to say I'll commit to something and then not be able to be a part of it.
He's the one that showed me.
And I regret that, like every day, especially since the new groove, is either taking a break or dismantled at the point.
New groove is new groove
fuck,
no more,
man, because I started going to a couple of those shows and. Dude, it would have been a beautiful thing to be a part of this. And maybe that's like one of the things that sparked this kind of support and like flow helps. Of love, you know what I'm saying? Like appreciation.
New groove, let's just put this in the air because I don't want people like taking this the wrong way, saying like, oh well, we've been doing this or whatever. But when B started the new groove thing, like his goal was for that to happen.
Nice, yeah.
Like for what you just said, like for people to acknowledge and feel like that, like and it worked. He did exactly what he had planned to do. And
what's up with that?
Oh, we're still going. Just that thing might not be.
Okay.
The video might have cut off.
Maybe.
Okay.
Like he definitely he was the starter of like being like, you know what, we need hip hop shows like poetry and things like that, like. And, like, when he started the new groove thing and got everyone involved, like, he set out from the gate. He's like, not everybody's going to be here at the end when it's done.
Right.
And some of the people who were there at the beginning weren't there. I do remember you coming, but the thing I think about it is like, you honestly were always a part of it because I remember him showing me, like, when he started the radio station.
Yeah, the QC 3 degree or 3...
He showed me Poor Bill, and, like, I heard your shit, and I was just like, bro.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Hell yeah.
I was like, oh... This was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah. So I've always been, like I said, I've always been a fan of your stuff, regardless. Like, and Aubrey too. Like, when he showed me Aubrey's spoken word stuff, and like, I was a fan of both of you guys. So you guys were always people that I wanted to work with. But, yeah, Beach got it started, man. Like, and he brought people out of the woodwork that he knew had what it takes. And now you see all the people that he brought that he knew could do things in the community are very relevant in the community, like
and appreciated too.
Like Jordan Atwater, like Aubrey, Wes, like there's more names, but those, off the top of my head, you know what I'm saying, like those three dudes alone, like, you know what I'm saying, I don't know how people view me personally though. I look at them like, okay, these guys are part of the hip hop community, like, and they're, you know, they're helping keep things moving.
A significant member of,
yeah,
for sure.
and like with Beach getting that started though, like people respect them and recognize those dudes, like, as, you know what I mean. Hey man, without these cats right now, like, you know, but at the same time, like I said, like, we got to give credit to where credit is due, and Beach definitely deserves that credit, especially where things are at right now.
Oh, yeah.
If he hadn't started the new groove stuff, I don't think we'd be as far as along with getting the respect and everyone kind of being on the same page.
I see that.
So
for sure.
yeah, like definitely shout out to Beach Dillard for that. Like, everybody, you know, make sure, you know, when all at the end of the day, 10, 20 years from now, and the hip hop community's thriving around here, and motherfuckers is eating and doing all this shit, like, make sure y'all give credit to.
We need a mural of some people, man.
Definitely.
That's what I'm saying.
Like a diatribe.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you go downtown, you got a mural, like, bro, like a mural painted, like, who got the stuff started. Like, you got famous musicians who come out here, and like, and it's crazy still to me because, like, you know, he definitely like threw in the towel on it. Like, I don't want to say threw in the towel, like he gave up. Like, he just, like, you know, he wanted to get it started, and then once it got started and snowballed, he's like, all right, I'm cool. Like,
well, now it's on to the next.
You guys are literally. He's like, you guys are. These guys, like,
you got it from here.
Like my babies. You're all grown. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's a good way to look at it. Like, and he's pretty much let us take control of that aspect of it. And like I said, to everyone who, you know, talks shit and was saying, oh, this isn't gonna work out, you got the hip hop community is bad, or all that negative stuff, like, fuck y'all. Like, obviously someone took it in their hands and was able to do something right, and give it to other people and let them take it forward. Like, so yeah, man. Like,
if we were podcasting right now, I'd probably cry. That's some meaningful shit, you know.
I'm all about giving respect to, like I said, people. I know people don't think that I fuck with them. I know people think that I'm very antisocial. I am an introvert. I am reclusive. I don't like small talk, and I definitely don't like, you know, I don't like shallow socialization.
Yeah.
But I do give respect where it needs to be given, and I respect people in general. Like that, when I enter a room full of people, I immediately just respect, you know, until I'm disrespected. Like, that's the person that I am. So, you know, like, I don't mean to make nobody cry or anything, but, you know, I give respect to the people that need it. And if it wasn't for Beej and Aubrey, I would not be in the position that I'm in right now. Like, you know, meeting the people that I've met and doing all the work, and you being one of them, like, this podcast, that all came from
all little parts,
people.
man.
Yeah, it all, like, and now I'm in a position to be able to sell beats and, like, work with people and travel and DJ and do gigs, and it's literally all because of those two dudes. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome. You can root it back there to that.
Yeah.
Real quick, there's no way we can, like, turn that back on, is there?
No, you hit record like an hour before we started, so we're fucked now.
Did I hit record, or did you?
You did.
All right, sorry, folks. Technical difficulties.
There's some video
I hit the power.
So we got like
I hit the power button. You were supposed to hit record.
No, you didn't. You hit the record button. I didn't do shit.
You know for sure.
We're gonna have a hour.
We might have to clip this shit out.
Yeah. No, it don't matter. We fucking, like, when we started this shit, we didn't even have, like, I had like some shitty SD cards that didn't even, like, for some reason.
Yeah, the video would cut out like halfway through.
Dude, I thought maybe it would be audio anyway. So.
Oh, all right, perfect.
Yeah, if you guys are doing audio, that's totally cool too.
Well, now we can make funny faces and look silly.
Right.
But real quick, before we get to, you know, where we can find you on social media, you got something in the works at the moment, don't you? Coffee shop? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, so the coffee shop project, that's it started out as a trilogy beat tape, and then I decided that I actually wanted to showcase my lyrical skills eventually, once I got some production, you know, skills up there. It started out as a 7-beat project, and then I ended up just like, you know what, I think before that my hard drive crashed, and I lost like a lot of work. A lot of the work I lost is actually on Spotify. I lost all of the way to edit the work, finish it up. So I just ended up putting a lot of those beats on Spotify. But Coffee Shop was the next project that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna bust everybody's ass. You know, I'm so sick and tired of fucking dealing with all this bullshit. Like, nobody wants to fuck with me. So I was like, all right, you know what? Fine then. Nobody wants to rap over my beats. I'll show how people to rap over my shit.
Hell yeah.
And so Coffee Shop is in the works. It is a 3-part album. It is a trilogy. 7 tracks per album. So it'll be Coffee Shop Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. And I'll pretty much, I don't know when I'll be releasing a single here for it, but this fall releasing a single for the Coffee Shop project. I kind of wanted to get a new beat tape Sonic Gallery out of the way though, to kind of showcase like this is where I'm going with my sound.
Yeah.
I had a lot of Coffee Shop stuff up actually, so a lot of the stuff you guys might have heard beforehand was Coffee Shop work that I did and it was kind of showing off. And then I was like, okay, nobody's fucking with it, nobody's really trying to hear it, so. And then Aubrey was just like hearing some of the Coffee Shop stuff, and he's like, "Bro, you making shit like this?" And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm trying to tell people." Then he's like, "Can you make more stuff like this?" I was like, "Yeah,
yeah."
And so I gave him like they got some old beats, but yeah, man, like Coffee Shop came out before Sonic Gallery. There actually is a beat from Coffee Shop on Spotify right now on the cinematic beats. I think it's Coffee and Blunt by the River.
Okay,
that's a beat that's actually on Coffee Shop. That I snuck in there just to see if people could notice a difference in sound.
Right. Okay.
I don't think anyone's even bothered to, because it's a beat that's like kind of like lower down in there. I know if you don't have premium, you can only play the most popular tracks. You gotta, it plays like, I don't know why y'all playing Billie Eilish with my shit Spotify, but she don't make instrumental beats that sound cinematic. I'm not knocking her music at all.
Right, Billie, you can get on a track if you want.
Yeah, she got
if you do it right.
She got a good voice. Like her voice is amazing. But Spotify be killing me with their algorithms. Like, we're gonna place you on this playlist, and then they be putting me on with all these hits that sound nothing like my music. And I see why my homies aren't like trying to play
as in tune, right?
Yeah, so I just tell them just go like that album and your like songs, and then listen to it all the way through from the liked, because that's the only way you're gonna get through it without the ads.
Is that on SoundCloud as well or no?
Sonic Gallery?
Have you really Coffee Shop? You said
Coffee Shop isn't even out. Like there's one secret beat in the cinematic beats. It's called Coffee and Blunt by the River. That beat is actually on the Coffee Shop. I think it is the second beat on the first album actually. But that I'm trying to release Coffee Shop. Like I said, I got Jabez I'm working with. I got Aubrey I'm working with, recording those dudes and mixing and mastering their stuff. Then little Abdur is going to be coming through and doing some stuff soon. So before I actually get to him, like I want to get these two dudes, get their stuff recorded. Well, Jabez is like he had a life-changing experience with my beats, so he's ready to he's ready to record over everything that I sent him. So between working on that, but after showcasing to Aubrey like a little bit of my writing skills, like he kind of like I kind of like looked for like that little like confidence boost. From him. He's got a pen. Like he's if I'm gonna look at anyone right now with the pen, I'm like, hey, man, what you think? Yeah. Like I didn't write it for myself, but I helped someone to write this. What do you think of my writing skills and like for what it is? And he was just like, oh yeah, bro, that shit gank. Like I would go hard. So like that gave me a little bit of confidence. Like okay, I'm gonna go ahead and give motherfuckers like the Coffee Shop shit.
That's 21 songs.
Yeah, it's 21 songs, and
that's a crazy feat. I mean, I'm putting together a project and I'm like taking songs out of a 7-song track list. So like, to put together that many.
I feel like I go a little too hard sometimes. Like I do think about it. Like that's why I only stuck with 10 for the Sonic Gallery. Oh yeah, because I was like, I don't want to water it down.
Well, that's such a catchy, the $1,000 beat tape.
Yeah,
so dope too.
Shit, it's like, well, $1,000 beat tape. How many beats you got? And it's like, oh, you only got 10 beats.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
Shit. Yeah. Like, okay, well, now let me really listen to these 10 beats. Then, as to where Coffee Shop's like 21 tracks, but it's like they're all substance. Like they're all tracks I made like literally the whole time I was like going through a lot of the crazy shit I was going through up until like getting things situated with Aubrey and the dudes. Like a lot of the shit, like I mean, from losing friends and cousins to gun violence and family like dying, like just random shit. You know what I mean? Dealing with, baby mama drama, all that stuff.
Right.
Being a dad, all that stuff. Like all that stuff, all those feelings are in Coffee Shop. Like Coffee Shop is like the epitome of like what I would have done with like all the projects that I did to spit in people's face to be like, you know what, I'm not a bad artist. Like that's Coffee Shop. Like that's the album that I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm really finally sick and tired of people not fucking with me and thinking my sound's too slow to rap over, or you can't do this or that. Like nah, like I'm gonna just kill it, and after that, I'm going to guarantee no one's ever going to be like, okay, I can't rap over this, or because by that time it's going to be too late.
Exactly. You set
by the time I put out Coffee Shop, these guys will have enough of my own material out that when I put Coffee Shop out there, they'll be like, oh, so you really like you really have been making all those beats all that time and like just been sitting on shit because nobody was fucking with you. Yeah. Sitting on shit because nobody was fucking with me. Like
that's like the perfect example of an artist doing his thing, especially in that aspect with when you're making things that other people, you would hope that other people would hop on. If nobody, then I'm going to, and that adds a whole nother layer within the depth of your artistry, because not only are you a beatsmith, a musician, a songwriter, and you're making these beats and instrumentals, you're writing to them as well. You're a writer as well.
I didn't try not to be like cliche, like, oh, I can rap and write or like produce and stuff like that, because I feel like that's a thing that, but actually now that I look at it, not a lot of producers are actually doing it.
Right.
I got Kanye West, Q-Tip, Hit Boy, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if DJ Mustard raps over some of his stuff. I know Mike Will might rap over some of his stuff. But there's a lot of producers who can rap and just don't, because they are told, you gotta stay in your lane and all that shit. Right. It's just like, I'm like,
you're not scared to be
at that point. That's when the Kanye West in me comes out. It's like, motherfucker, you ain't gonna tell me,
right?
Like, you ain't gonna fucking sit here. I still.
You had a fucking gospel choir into your shit. Okay, then
I'll write some shit out and show you. You ain't gonna fucking sit here and tell me I can just produce. No, I can write. I've been doing this. Like, people who know, people, especially growing up, my family knows. Like, I've always had a pen, whether it was doodling or writing. I've always been creative. And I can't say that people weren't fucking with me back then when I first started, because I'd especially like Dre Holland shit. Like he was like a producer that was like fucking with me, and I was just like, dude, his sound's amazing. And he's younger than me, like it's a kid. I'm just like, damn, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. This kid's making better beats than me. Like, they had the whole like New Love Lowlights thing, like, and that album was to me, it was like that set the tone like for me, like as making beats and like okay, like this, everybody's fucking with this, like for the QC, like this shit is hard. So him, and I think like Alejandra, like she like supported, like she definitely showed me some love, like when I started to, like there's a few cats that back then, like when I first started, showed me some love. But yeah, man, like now it's like, it's gonna be a little too late for some people. It's gonna be a little too late. Like I said, I'm not trying to be big-headed or talk my shit, but the energy that I feel for what I'm doing and what we're doing it's a little too late for people to be trying to catch on. Right?
There's a time for being humble, and we've done that. You've already stated that you're not, it's like, I think people, for the most part, anyone listening will know, because they're obviously tuning in to get insight on, what you do. Yeah. There's some mystery to King Supr3m. I'm not going to lie, because of your reclusiveness.
Pretty and, private person. I mean, unless you knew me back when you say, well, like, do I know you from somewhere? Yeah, I probably sold you weed. You probably got weed from me at some point. Right. Like, I'm not afraid to put that on the air and say that. Like, I used to hustle. I used to do my fucking thing. Like, I used to get a little bit of money here and there. But, like, yeah, man, like, I'm a pretty reclusive. I'm a pretty private person, and I'm gonna stay that way. I work better that way. Like, when it comes to making beats, I don't work with anybody.
No outer influence that are
outer. Like, there's no one saying, "Oh, you should do this." Like, I might get some sample suggestions, like, what I'm saying, ideas, like you should sample this song. But as far as making sounds goes and all that other stuff, like, it's me. Like, this literally one man army. That's it. Like, nobody else is there. Nobody helps me with mixing, mastering. Everything that I learned, engineering a sound, I learned literally by trial and error. Literally by trial and error, just fucking up with the program and like just doing shit. It's never been someone sitting in there being like, you should do this or you should do that, or you know what I mean. Like I said, I've been inspired by people like Kanye West, Timberland, Swiss Beats, Q-Tip, J Dilla. Like, those were all like, heroes and idols and shit that I look up to for sound, like as far as like what I wanted to cut, vibes. But yeah, man, I did it on my own, bro. Like,
you're definitely in your own lane for sure. And I just want to say I respect the shit out of you as an artist. I don't say this. I don't like blow smoke up people's asses. For the most part, I'm pretty cynical about Cody knows.
You're pretty straightforward, but you're pretty honest. You don't
try to be.
I love that about you.
So like when I say that shit, I mean it 100%.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm super glad that we got to have you on.
Thank you.
To talk about your craft.
I wanted to ask you guys something. You two. Any thoughts on people with going over their backing tracks? Want to share any thoughts on this subject?
I'll go first before I let Albert get into it. Because personally, okay, so as a producer, like if I'm and as a DJ, If I'm gonna DJ you, and if you're an artist and you're trying to give them a show, like, it's okay to have your track with, especially if you don't have a hype man who's if DJ's not vocal at all either. It's okay to have a track with, say, some ad libs and or chorus. I get it, like,
and that's different, you know.
That's different. But say if you're a duo on stage, or you have a hype man, or you have a crowd that can sing your lyrics, and you know all the words to your song, I don't want to hear you get up on stage to a backtrack and say, I came all the way from this place. I'm talking a little bit. Put the mic out. No one even knows where you came from.
Right.
And all we hear is just this track playing in the background, which you rapping, and like you have at that point you've killed your stage presence the minute you stepped on stage.
Yep.
And what I see is like poor performance, entertainment.
Effort.
You should know your lyrics, okay? Because that's what a lot of MCs like. That's what they get known, like not known for, but MCs, that's a craft. To be able to remember lyrics and go on stage and perform, like that's something like they don't take that shit lightly. That's not something you should take lightly. So when you get on stage and just play this off my phone with the backtrack, nah, bro, the instrumental, you should be able to hit your track full force like you rapped it in the studio. Rehearse your shit. You just record the track and then you listen to it. Oh yeah, bro, this shit hit, huh? Okay, yeah, your homie's gassing you up, but what your homie should be telling you, all right, bro, that shit's hard, but what you gonna do when you go live?
Right.
I can't stand it. They just
I can't.
That fully recorded shit on stage.
I can't stand backtracks on stage. Like, like I said, ad libs and choruses. I get it if it's engineered right to work to perform live. But if you gotta have a backtrack to perform, you shouldn't be performing.
You're not really a rapper.
Are you putting in the effort that you really should?
It's the same thing to me as lip syncing.
Right. Yeah.
All the artists who have gotten knocked down on TV for lip syncing, that's that's the same thing as having a backtrack.
Simpson on Saturday Night
Why
Live
not treat it the same way as lip syncing? We don't want to hear you fucking lip sync.
Yep.
And it sounds like shit.
It sounds like shit.
Yeah.
Like now, the artists that I work with who give me, like when I DJ shows and I have no choice but to give me the backtracks because the engineers are only given the tracks with that. They can't. I have no choice, but and that's totally fine. They're like, man, I know you guys aren't. There's a couple artists that I work with, and they can't. It can't be helped right now.
And you can tell usually.
Yeah, and with me, I'm working with artists where I'm like, hey, well, fuck that. We're not gonna do that no more. I'm gonna give you your tracks the way they need to be given to you. And if I'm a DJ, I'm gonna also be your fucking hype man.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? If you need me to fill in a couple words or some ad libs, let me know. We can rehearse this shit.
I like that.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like with Jabez, like definitely trying to be more of that. Like even with Aubrey, like Aubrey's like, dude, no, you need a mic sometimes. Like I want you to like be on it, bro. So it's like that's how I feel about backtracks. It's like if you're gonna do this entertainment business, entertain.
Yeah, I feel like
don't half-ass it.
Yeah.
You're not
exactly
even like
half-assing.
you're putting in less effort than someone doing karaoke.
You want motherfuckers to go buck wild for your show, but you can't remember the words for your set. So
right, or you don't even try to.
So the way I see it is, it's like you either accept the fact that they paid to come and see you, and you're a poor performer, or you start learning your shit and stop demanding the crowd to fucking get bucked for you when you won't have to demand it if you're live.
I think
if you're live and you ready, the energy comes. Like I've seen it too many times. YouTube, perfect example, especially our Lil Uzi Introvert. You guys did that shit fucking perfect, bro. Yeah. At Ross Todd. That shit was prime example. And what you guys are gonna do with, I already know. Like
I was gonna say, I'll let the fuck a backtrack speak for itself.
So if Aubrey wants to place his opinion on that,
thoughts there.
If Aubrey
coming out soon.
If Aubrey wants to put his opinion out on that, go ahead. But like that's my opinion personally. Like I feel like
I get so turned off all the time. I'm so sick of because I've seen it so much, like way too much.
I mean, ever since we started playing any kind of shows, that's basically all we would see.
Bands don't do it though. Like I've never been in a band where like bands hated like if you were in a band you had like you had a computer that played like your shit for like the intervals or whatever, or background tracks that you played to like over because you didn't have the keyboard or the programmer, and you did that shit in the studio and you're like, okay, well we need these tracks for our laptop for our drummer to play off the laptop. That's a different story. But bands don't use backtracks. They gotta they fight over like instruments and everything else. It's the same thing. Like I said, at the end of the day, bro, you just lip syncing, and I don't want to hear that.
And I think that shit makes people take the hip hop scene less seriously.
Exactly.
Because so filled with all these black motherfuckers.
That is a problem. That's why they
don't. Me too. I do hip hop, and it's like I fucking hate you people. It's fucking whack.
No, like it's good for us to have this talk and be honest about it because I think it needs to be brought to the table. motherfuckers don't like backtracks. Period. We don't want to hear you rap over backtracks around here.
We do not. Focus.
Please do not.
To be honest,
you can get your track with some ad-libs in the chorus, and if you want to have a show where you want us to support you and so you don't have to have a backtrack, why don't you put a PSA out, say, hey, y'all, I got a few songs I would like y'all to learn lyrics to. I'm going to put them up on here. If y'all can learn the lyrics before, a couple weeks for this show I'm coming out, especially if they fuck with you, we're going to come and we're going to make sure we know every fucking word. Because one, we all want to be on the mic.
Right. Yeah.
we all want to be the people hopping up in that picture who's on the microphone with you. Like,
dogpiling.
Like that love, that energy. Like, I support that type of love and energy. I don't support the love and energy where you're half-assing your craft. Because I'm not half-assing this beat for you to go and fucking make a fool out of yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about it. Backtracks are lame. You know what I'm saying? You lip syncing, like, just go. If your voice is out, don't perform. Don't just, hey, I gotta go. I can't do this.
Mm-hmm. Or at least if you have no choice, and that's the thing. It's like you said, if a person has no choice, you can usually tell, you can decipher whether or not you're really feeling their music in general. And you can always see whether or not they're putting in the energy and the effort, and they're not half-assing the projection of those lyrics and those bars. Even if there's a backtrack. Because I find myself wavering a little bit nowadays. I'm like, I'll see a dude I really respect, and a lot of my homies respect musically, and I dig the music, and maybe he's got no choice but to rap over some vocal tracks. The thing for me is, to be honest, I kind of enjoy it because it's like, if I'm up next, it's a whole different experience if you're actually spitting, projecting, putting that energy into the mic itself with your bars. They make us look good as shit if you go. Oh yeah, exactly. It's like there's almost balances out the scale of like, all right, this fucking hack just hardly half-ass, like you said, spit over some vocal tracks. Yeah, we get it. We know what your song's supposed to sound like. I know what I'm gonna hear when I go online and listen to it. But now there's this motherfucker who's like, full live,
killing that shit live, and it's like, man, so when I go to hear this fucking shit on the car, I'm more excited to hear it.
Right, because
when I hear yourself live, and you're rapping over backtracks, it's like, it just sounds like shit. It sounds like it should have been played in the club, and you shouldn't have been there.
Right,
exactly. Like, it should have been straight up karaoke. Who's this person I'm listening to, and I'm looking right at you, like. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, no,
I'm fucking walking out.
Did we cover it very much, or you got any more?
I was just like, man, I'm chilling today.
So I'm gonna let the song speak for itself when the shit comes out.
When the song comes out, that'll be a holothon.
Yeah, y'all. I was gonna say, y'all. I'm glad he asked me personally. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know there's a couple artists. I know there's people in the community that we all fuck with that do the backtracks, and I'm not trying to get, you know what I'm saying? I want all the smoke. Y'all can hate me all y'all want. Y'all don't have to fuck with me no more. I don't care. I'm not calling nobody out or anything like that. But
setting a bar.
I'm setting a bar.
Yeah, what are they gonna say? Even if you were, what are you gonna say?
No, because
I rap over backing tracks.
I'm not an egotistical person. Like, I want people to fuck with me, but I don't. At the same time, like, I don't give a fuck if you do or not. Like, I'm just setting the bar. I'm setting standards for the community as well.
Exactly.
Like, I want there to be. I want us to have a. Some culture and some elegance in this shit.
Exactly.
Like, and when people come here, when we start getting our shows where motherfuckers are packing out rooms and it's local, just live people, like, they should be able to fucking throw on a show without backtracks, and the DJ should be able to play tracks without backtracks and be able to fucking and help the crowd rock. Like, that to me is hip hop. That's how it should be done. Like, I understand the whole, like, if you have to have a backtrack, but if you ain't gotta have that shit, bro, let us hear you. Like, let us see your presence. Like, one of the people I can't wait to see again is Isaiah. His voice sounds so good. And you and Aubrey, like, your voices sound so good over music live, like, without backtracks. Like, it's just like, that's how it should sound. Like,
and that's how you formulate the, that tone of voice that you're using, or that projection, is you're practicing. Like, I remember me and Oms were straight up just in the jam room, just running through Lil Uzi Vert, or sorry guys, copyright issue. No, Lil Uzi Introvert, and it just, other than just being in my room and projecting it out loud, it felt good running through it with, Obs, of course, because he's on it, and he had me on it. So it's a whole different experience. And you gain that tone, when you're used to rapping over pre-recorded vocal tracks or your entire vocal track, you don't feel compelled to put in that effort and, to stand alone with your voice just naked and just the instrumental behind it, it's a whole different experience, and you have to formulate totally differently.
Well, yeah, because you like it's like Rakim said, like back in the day, they was pulling out certain things like out of thin air. So like when you guys like, I know like I understand where he's coming from now, because especially like writing shit. Like when you're writing shit, like to formulate that, you're formulating it out of thin air. So you need to like if you're having to take the backtracks after you've written something like that, like you need to rehearse.
Right.
You need to because you just made some shit up that no one else can do but you, and you just wrote it that way. Like I wrote that track that I showed you, and like I had to like kind of sound it out because I wrote it to the beat, but like at the same time, like I was like, man, I gotta actually rap it out loud, otherwise I don't know. Like, and then once I did it, and then he caught it, like he was able, okay, and like, bro, like that shit's real, man. Like that's a song, like, you know, once I write my shit, like I'm gonna rehearse my shit.
Dude,
I'm not gonna
wait.
I'm gonna put the songs out, but I'm not gonna perform them live until I know them by heart.
Right.
Fuck that
That's
shit.
the way to go.
Nah, I just can't do it. Like I want y'all. I already hate my voice, so I need to get used to hearing my voice over some shit. So like that's gonna be a thing for me. It's
Learning to love your own voice. I've been there, man. I'm still there. I'm still there.
I'm nervous as to what I'm gonna sound like on this podcast.
Well, I'm excited. Oh, we'll probably put a little modulation in your voice, make you sound a little higher pitched.
T-Pain.
It'll sound great. But yes,
Well,
if you use backing tracks, just please don't fuck with me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
You're
Don't say
hurting
you're the
the
dopest
hip hop
rapper.
scene.
Don't tell me you're the dopest
Yeah, and don't
rapper,
say
the
you're the
dopest
dopest
live
rapper.
performer. Don't tell me none of that, because the
Don't brag about the
dopest live
sessions you got
performers I've
paid
ever
for,
heard don't use
because I will drop
backtracks.
kick you in the chest.
I mean, I don't know about
Lyrically
Lyrically
and physically,
I
maybe.
just, you know,
Physically, too.
I want artists to, like I said, rappers and artists like man.
It's cool getting that opinion or viewpoint from somebody who doesn't necessarily isn't a rapper per se, or
Everybody hates everybody, even rappers who rap with backtracks. You hear other rappers rap with backtracks, hate the backtrack.
right, yeah.
So me saying it shouldn't even be a thing. Like, it's common sense.
Like, why do we have to tell you people this? What
Exactly.
the fuck?
And I'm so happy that y'all are vocal about it, especially Obs, like just being vocal about
Unless
it.
they, I mean, let's take
It's
that
like,
back.
I feel like-
some don't care. Some don't give a fuck.
Right.
But that's, the ones who do care actually hate the fact that they have to do it. They wish they had a DJ.
still getting
They
money,
wish they had
man.
the rights to their own beats. Yeah.
Still get
The ones who
20,000
don't
plays
care
on
just
my
naturally, like you
Spotify.
said earlier, just get weeded out.
But then some of them
from that.
Spotify, bitch.
Yeah, but then some of them I noticed like, yeah, they're lazy. So like I said, man, it just, you can tell when, it is what it is. But at the end of the day,
You're providing the service.
as a producer, when I make a beat, I expect to hear my beat with you over it live, not with your backtracks that you got mix and master. Like I said, I don't care who you didn't mix and master the shit over my beat, but if he's gonna do it for you, make sure he gives you if I gave you the beat, shit, you should have the beat itself.
Right, yeah, you should have no
At
issues
the end of the
with
day,
that.
you should have the beat itself.
Unless you have some like really overdubbed choruses that you need behind you.
I get
or
it.
some
Like I
shit.
said,
Yeah.
you got the overdubbed choruses that you need to have for that part. Cool. Like, just don't sing over the chorus. Let the crowd sing with the damn chorus. Don't be putting the mic like you fucking singing that shit. You lip singing, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, like don't be lazy with your engineer and be like, okay, here's my final recorded mix. This is all I got. I guess
Yeah.
give me the instrumental.
Yeah, like, can you separate? Like, can I get the instrumental back, bro? Like,
Exactly.
can I get the instrumental, or can I get the instrumental with just to add? Like, can you silence this and this and this? Like, get separate versions, man. Like, you got a version for when you
And don't fuck with anybody that won't do that for you.
Yeah.
That is just so dismissive
That's
about
what I do
things
with
like
Aubrey.
that.
I was asking what you need. Like, you need with the vocals over it. Does he need the vocals separated from the track? But he also needs to hear what you sound like.
Yep.
And when he tells me that, I make sure I give him everything he fucking needs, because it's just like, bro, that's your job as an engineer, as a producer. First, like, if you're not gonna do your job, that's why other people are like, like me, are coming up and doing the shit for free, even though we shouldn't be. But like, motherfuckers ain't doing their jobs. Like,
Right.
They don't want to
Their
do shit.
duty.
Like, and at the end of the day, like, I can't say too much, because like, I don't like people doing my work for me alone anyway. So I'm not gonna let nobody take my shit and do what I need to do anyway. Like, nah, bro, like, you just make me look bad. And so that's just me alone. But yeah, man, y'all gonna catch me rapping over the backtracks. So
Yes.
I fucking dig it,
I hope
man.
y'all fuck with me. So
Good job getting on this topic. Cody.
Yeah, please just
I
get
wasn't
your
gonna be
bars
the one
up.
to bring it up, but
Fucking, or you're just hurting.
20,
hip hop
20,
scene.
get your diaphragm up, get your lung capacity.
kinda.
Or else
that
get the
shit,
fuck
man.
out.
Yeah.
Ain't trying to hurt,
Or be
ain't trying to
weeded
hurt
out.
nobody's feelings or nothing like that, or
I don't give a
saying
fuck about
nobody's
your feelings.
We know where King Supreme stands. And that's good to know, at least.
I don't sugarcoat shit, but like I said, like I'm not. At the end of the day, you know, I'm me. I give everybody respect.
Right.
You know, I don't demand it, but I give everybody their respect. I respect people. I don't talk shit. I'm not big headed. You know, I'm reclusive. I'm private. But at the end of the day, like, you know, y'all know, like I said here, I love everybody. I support as many people as I can when I can. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, the backtracks, man. Let's, as a community, as a hip hop community, we could do better.
Right, that's a great way to put it. Yeah. We can do better. We can do better.
We can do better. Just like men are realizing we can do better. Mm-hmm. You know, yeah, we can do better as hip hop artists. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and as engineers, as producers, as rappers, as a whole. Yeah. Not just rappers of backtracks. Everybody in the community. You know, there's some things we could do better, but we are doing better. We are getting better at that. So being vocal and open about it, and you know, as you know, my roommate is having a little problem here. You know. Lately, people critiquing your shit too. Don't get butthurt.
Right. Yeah.
Stop crying. Stop fucking crying.
Add that to the fuel, like
literally. Stop fucking crying. If somebody critique, like
I'd be happy somebody was even listening.
I'm just saying, like, I'm just putting that out there. Like, as a community, like, we should be able to judge each other's work and give each other advice without somebody being like, "Oh, I'm not gonna fuck with this crowd no more because they're talking shit." Right. Ain't nobody talking shit, bro.
Don't take it to heart.
You're asking for a personal opinion, or someone's asking for proof of something that you've done, and you have no proof to show, or the proof that you have shown is not really that hard.
Right.
Then you can't get butthurt when someone says, "Okay, well, this is all right," or "This isn't really relevant to what I'm trying to get you to prove." Bring your A game. Otherwise, don't talk.
Right, like, I mean,
otherwise just accept the critique.
Fact,
and
like, yeah, just, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't cry about it. Go back to the drawing board and start over. Every time I come out and network with people who's making beats, I don't cry about a beat that I heard. Right. I go back to my fucking lab and I try to make a fucking better beat than that person made.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Period.
A lot of people might not want to hear it, but you know, part of being an artist is you're gonna get judged.
Yeah,
like it or not.
And you just gotta pick and choose, basically. You know, rightfully so, not in a biased sense, but like I just showed a coworker of mine a track of mine. And he's like, "Oh, you know, it could be." I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" You know, the whatever, the head of music. I'm trying to think the word I'm thinking of, but you know, like, who the fuck are you? That was my first thought, but then I was like, he's right, actually. That's exactly what I thought.
It's coming from a consumer standpoint.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody who doesn't even make music or isn't creative in that sense at all. It's like I really had to kind of just let that simmer and then think, like, dude, I totally agreed with him when I first, you know, heard this finished product. I was like, the same thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think, see, that's what I think. I don't think a lot of us, I do that. Because I'm always like, I've learned to especially when being told you're a bad artist and I can't fuck with you. I've learned to be open to being critiqued. I'm always ready for, you know, I'm always ready for it, because that's usually my first thought now is like, well, you know,
because you're already thinking what you might not if you were a different person.
If I'm a different person, and but I'm also thinking of like who could fucking kill the beat too. So it's like, it's nice to have that, like, that consumer perspective of things, because it humbles you.
Yeah, and it keeps in mind those little, you know, elements or aspects that you personally already probably thought of and, you know, weren't happy with at first, but to keep that in the forefront of your mind when you're creating your next project and making it stronger and
people
growing
just
as
need
an
to
artist.
Stop getting so butthurt though, like, you know, especially if the community's supporting you, man. Like, if someone's supporting you, like, don't get butthurt if they critique you. Like, they're trying to help your craft.
Dude, if anybody's even listening to my shit and tells me it's dog shit, I'm like, well, thanks for listening. I got your attention, you know.
Like, I don't get mad when nobody buys a beat. I thank him for coming through and even giving my, like, you listen to my music. Like, do you understand, like, that's a stat raise for me. Like, I don't care if you didn't buy a beat. Like, you just listened to it and told me you liked it, even though you didn't want a beat. So to me, that my job's done. Shit.
Hell yeah.
I got a new follower. You might not have bought a beat, but I got a new listener.
This is probably the funnest podcast I've been part of here at the Mob.
I feel so
MOBCAST,
comfortable,
man.
and you guys are very loving. And
well, I'm glad you came on, man. I'm super thankful.
I think it's part of the room too, isn't
the
it?
vibe is great. Like, I love this.
Hey, man, if you like this
cozy
room, you're definitely gonna like. I don't know if you've seen it before. House on the Rock. We're all gonna go. We're gonna get a trip. Y'all be on the lookout for a vlog / some music videos.
I'm down to go, man. I'm down to go when we do go.
It'll be such a good time.
I'll bring my camera, because if you guys are gonna shoot video, I can shoot
Oh, hell yeah.
Man. Like,
Sure.
I need to catch videos for my stuff as well, like I said. Speaking of, I need to get a hold of Juan, man.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Juan.
Oh, yeah, shout out to Juan. 1V on the track.
Oh, 1V, yeah, we had it
That's
on.
1V on the track.
Yeah, if you're listening, fucking...
So I could go on. We could go on all day about vocal backtracks, but for anybody listening that hasn't heard a lot of your stuff, where can they find you and how can they find you?
Okay, so as of right now, I have stuff on Bandcamp. I have stuff on Reverb Nation, and I also have stuff on SoundCloud. As far as like just I usually preview things what I'm gonna put out, like a few songs here and there. As far as streaming services goes, I'm on pretty much every streaming service that you can find.
Okay.
So that's including Napster, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Pandora.
That's a lot of submissions.
Deezer, and Tidal. YouTube.
Tidal,
yeah.
YouTube as well,
YouTube
right?
as well.
Okay.
You can find all of my music on literally every streaming music service.
Very nice.
You can find the recent Sonic Gallery on SoundCloud as well as Spotify. I know some people don't fuck with SoundCloud, but it's actually pretty dope. I mean, there's a lot of good music on SoundCloud. When you look up my name, look for K1ng Supr3m, and it's spelled... It's supposed to be in all caps, but they don't do that. But it's K1ng space Supr3m3. So the I is a 1 and the E's are 3. That's K1ng Supr3m. I know there's a few other artists named K1ng Supr3m, but you definitely will find me distinctly with as long as you put
alphanumeric.
Yeah, alphanumeric. As long as you spell that right, K1ng Supr3m, with the K1ng and Supr3m3.
I like that too. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Adds up to 7, by the way. 7's my lucky number, so.
Very nice.
I threw that. That's why I threw the 3 and the 1 in there. I was like, I gotta be clever with this. Like, if I'm gonna have his name and kind of use it with everyone, there's some people who are using it. And there's some artists. There's local artists who came by. I think a DJ he went by like. Actually, I think there's a local artist who went by like K1ng Supr3m, and then like I said something on a post. It was like I was like, damn, really? Like, and I was just like, I was like, damn, like I had to change my name. Then I was like, nah, I'm gonna just find a different way to spell it.
Yep.
And I had somebody actually call me one time. I was like, man, did anybody ever like check you for your name one time? Someone called me just from like seeing my number on the Facebook thing. It was like, I just got advice. He's like,
a random call.
Yeah, a random call.
Wow.
He was like looking for advice, and he was just like, man, he's like, I was like, no one's like, you're not like. No one's ever come after you or like try to shoot you up or anything like that. I'm like, nah, like no one's like ever tried to like come at me or fight me for having the name K1ng Supr3m. I was like, I've seen other people, but I've never like messaged them. They'd never messaged me before about it, and like so it's whatever. I was like, but I am trying to make it so that I am the relevant K1ng Supr3m.
There can only be one.
There can only be one. Like. The Thanos, like like a snap of my fingers, like every K1ng Supr3m, like you gonna have to change your names here coming soon because I'm getting ready to get clothing made and everything else with my name on it. So
there you go.
Hell yeah. So be on the lookout for sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Fucking.
Also be on the lookout for that Astro Hop tip.
Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna be growing for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna get them to recognize the genre. They're gonna have to make it a thing because I'm not gonna settle for nothing else. I'm not gonna let them put me in that box. I created my own, so
it's already a thing now. Shit.
Yeah.
There we go.
Astro Hop is a thing. Y'all be ready. Y'all be ready for that.
Hell yeah.
Hey, thanks again for coming on. Both of you, Bobs and
K1ng Supr3m, Preston.
Pleasure, gentlemen.
I had a blast. I'll just on record. This is. I guess the camera's not going, so I won't look at it. But, on record, this is probably one of the funnest podcasts I've had. So,
thank you. I feel the love and like thank you for having me. I really appreciate coming through and being able to share a little bit of myself with the community and the world, and hopefully I didn't rub anybody the wrong way. And
hell no.
K1ng Supr3m and I make beats.
check it out, yo.
Hell yeah. Thank you again. Till next time.
Till next time.
Goodbye.
Woo.